Look, man, I'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. I'm your host, the Ranting Monkey. He's Jack. Say hi, Jack.
Hi, everybody. Your confidence is inspiring, Monkey.
It's been a rough day, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm fine. My back hurts a little bit. I don't know. I pulled some muscles or something. I don't know.
Oh, dude. Oh, I hope that.
Not like what you're dealing with, so it's pretty trivial.
You know, I had a thought earlier today. I almost tweeted this out. I was going to tweet out, if you have a big head, never injure your neck.
You're more prone to, though, because you got a big head.
Bro, I was sitting here earlier and my neck was just like, I don't think this head should be held up any longer. And I kind of agreed with it. Not only do I have a giant ego, guys, my head is large. I have a big head.
You have a physically large cranium.
You know what they say about guys with big heads, right, ladies? We look funny.
You wear bigger hats.
We have bigger hats. Yeah, no, I'm just, day 2 of having fallen down the stairs. I didn't fall down again, guys. It's just the second day after. Just a rough day on that front. But otherwise, I had a really good day. I was up and I was alert for the day. That's kind of weird for me lately. Yeah.
Well, something to do.
So I had a decent day.
Good.
I just got to find myself a head shrinker. Anybody know voodoo?
You're lucky. I'll go too far in the opposite direction.
That's all right. It'll take some pressure off.
Have you ever seen a woman with like an abnormally large head?
Oh God, yeah.
I always think that's weird.
It depends. I'm more weirded out by a big face than a big head.
Yeah, that's fair.
I was watching an old Willie Mack video today when he was talking about all the tea community.
Oh yeah.
And there's this one chick, and I can't remember her name, but she kind of looks like RoboCop without the headpiece on. You see the skin all around the outside. You know what I mean? Where it attaches to all the metal. And it looks really funky. And it's just because she has that big of a face. This is going to sound weird, but her face she's got the opposite problem of Charlie Kirk. Her face takes up her whole head. It's really disturbing to see. And so during her parts, I had to turn away. I can't look at funky looking people.
I know. Hi, Stargazer. Thanks for dropping links.
Wait, it's Phoebe. Little Bear's 11th birthday.
Wow.
VB, should I use his actual name or just call him Little Bear? Because, I mean, we've done both on the show, but it's been a long time, and people would have to dig for years to figure it out. So if you want me to just use Little Bear, I will happily do so. Otherwise, we will sing to him with his proper name. But Little Bear, okay, Little Bear it is. Little Bear, this one's for you. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Little Bear. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, sir. Welcome to 11. It's a fun time. And hope you have a great one. I really, really do.
11's a good age. You can still play with toys. And you can do some adult stuff or more adult stuff. You start getting a little more responsibility, but you also get a little bit more freedom.
Yeah, you get treated a little bit older, but you still have that cushion of allowed to make mistakes because you're a kid.
Yeah, you can hide behind either one. Like, hey, I'm just a kid. What do I know? Yeah. Or I'm old enough to do this. You know, you can play the angles. It's a good age.
And you're not yet getting zits, so it's cool.
Yeah.
Now, I never got a lot of zits, Jack. I had very good skin. My older brother got all of them, poor bastard. But I understand that they're not pleasant.
Yeah, it's unpleasant. I had bad acne for a while, mostly because I ate a lot of garbage.
VB says he was smiling and says thank you. He's one of my favorite little people on the planet. Give him a hug for me and sincerely, happy birthday, bro. All right, now we got to do the bad stuff, Jack. We got to talk about the news. And we're going to start with Hasan Piker just because I like making fun of that retard. So I'm minding my business on the Twitter machine like I do, Jack.
Okay.
And
a likely story.
I see a post from this retard where he's upset about the crime statistics, you see. The criminality statistics out there. Where the hell's the post? I just did this. There it is. He's responding to this post. We'll read the post that he's responding to, and then his, and then I'll make fun of him because he's a retard. Before we get there, Snubber, thank you. I never thought you and Yandere Dev would be in the same sentence. It must be bad. Dude is practically Chris Chan tier as it is. Oh, dude. We'll get to that, but I'll just say I had heard of the guy before. I remember when the controversy all blew up a few months back. But that video from the other day, holy shit. Just, that's what I'm going to leave it at until we get to where we're talking about. Holy shit. Really? We're just psyching the audience up for later, Jack.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so this is what...
This is audio ducking? What? What's happening? I'm scared. I'm all alone. All by myself. I don't know the rest of that song. So I know it's him because the chat's still moving on my screen. I'm scared too, right? Monkey, don't mute yourself. Yeah, I know, right? The CIA got Monkey. That's always possible. Hey, what's up, GTTEC? I don't know how to pronounce that. Yeah, Target, don't forget to remind me. Don't worry about it. Your viewership is enough. The commies got him. That one surprised me. He doesn't even have dirt on the Clintons. He was having problems with his mic earlier, too, so that's always an issue. Once one thing goes, something else is going to go. How's Rumble doing?
It's just not my day.
It really isn't. It really isn't. I was telling him you were having problems with your mic earlier.
Yeah, this one was just the internet died. It's back now. It just died.
It's a cascade.
Fuck, man.
Hey, man, the other day you slept for like a day. You were offline, and earthquakes hit the entire fucking planet.
That's true. So
Japan had a big earthquake. There was an earthquake on the west coast of the U.S. Then New York and D.C. both had earthquakes. It was chaos, and some plane caught on fire in Japan. I don't know what Japan did to you recently, but you must have a dream about them because everything was going to shit over there.
Yeah, it wasn't me. As Shaggy said. It wasn't me. All right, back to Hasan here. Hasan is trying to go with this idea that the mainstream media... Whoops, that's the wrong thing to pin. Unpin. Damn it, hold still, chat, just for 1 second. Pretend you're my game chat for a second and shut up. There you go. Now you can talk again. Anyway, that the legacy media is actually very conservative and only puts out bad stories about Biden and what's been going on in the country. Anybody buy that bullshit?
No.
Let's look at what was actually said here. Most Americans think crime is going up, and then they say, but homicide has gone down. Is homicide the only crime?
Probably not.
It's really weird because just 2 years ago, these same people were like, homicides are going up, but all the other crime is down. You remember that? And now suddenly they forget about all that other crime. And just as an example, let's talk about homicide for a minute. One, homicide just means somebody was killed. That does not necessarily mean murder. Those are different things. But so homicide going down could be less police shootings. That would be homicide going down because that is listed as a homicide. Right? You with me?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So far.
The number of homicides last year in 2022. So I realize last year is not 2023, but we're looking at the stats that they have. The last year they have stats for 2022 was 21,000 and some change. And it looks like they're going to go down about 12% this year, which is great. It's like 50 murders per state because it comes out to about 2,500 less murders, which is great, right? On the other side, vehicle theft has gone up about 30%.
Yeah.
In an average year, the average for vehicle thefts in the United States is about 75,000 a year. 30% of 75,000 is 20,000. It's like 21, 22,000. So murder's going down by 2,500 when vehicle crime has gone up in just one aspect by 25,000. Might be a reason people think crime has gone up even though murder has gone down. I do not understand why anybody listens to Hasan Piker.
I have no idea.
The guy is a fucking retard. I'm fairly certain he was in that article about retard boxing last night. Remember that kick video we saw him doing?
Yeah,
he's clearly Downsy.
No, the Downsies have better kickboxing skills than he does.
Fuck. Oh, look. There are times that the media lies to you, absolutely. But would you guys get off this kick of trying to convince us that they're actually on the Republican side? Because that is beyond retarded. Even retarded people would look at that and go, that's fucking retarded, dude. Anyhow, I just had to make fun of the idiot for not being able to understand basic statistics. All he had to do was actually look up what was going on there, and he could have known. But as Willie Mack pointed out, the guy's a retard. He doesn't care about what reality is. He's just pushing that message so he can cash those sweet socialist paychecks.
Yeah, I mean, he makes a lot of money off of the dummies that follow him.
I think we could actually reverse engineer the human race if Hasan Piker had babies with Pearly. I think it would actually devolve.
I don't think that's fair to Pearly, honestly. If we're
think
being completely fair, I think she's smarter than he is.
No. They are equally retarded, and I think they should have a little equally retard baby, and we could see what exactly Cro-Magnon man looked like.
Oh, I think he does that pretty well on his own. But no, she's like the look. I don't much care for Pearly. She's like the high functioning Downsy tard. But that dude is so fucking dumb, and he doesn't even realize he's dumb, which makes him extra dumb somehow. Have you seen those people that are so stupid, and people tell them they're dumb, and they're like, "No, you're too stupid to understand what I'm saying." He's one of those.
Pearly's new thing is now riding Bryson Gray's jock. So if you like Bryson Gray, give it another 2 or 3 months, and you will love just Pearly things.
Who's Bryson Gray?
He's a black conservative on Twitter and YouTube. He does songs and stuff. He blew up during the MAGA stuff. I believe his last name's Gray, right?
I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, she's all over his junk lately. So anyway, I can't wait to see her come out and do her own rap songs. I guess she's off the Fuentes train. Well, Fuentes isn't going to like you talking to black guys. Stop it. He's not. He's point. No Kanye.
And he's going to be jealous that you're talking to guys.
That's his man, damn it. Fuck, let's just insult everybody tonight. All right, speaking of insulting everybody.
We're on a good start.
Yeah, we are. Jack, a woman died in a horrible jet ski accident. Yeah, I didn't tell you that part of the story, did I?
Oh, no, you didn't tell me she died.
That
died. Makes this even worse.
A wife was jet skiing with her husband, fell off the back of a jet ski, and the jet wash blew out her vagina. I didn't even know that was a thing.
What, did it like turn inside out like a belly button or something?
It ruptured.
Like it went from an innie to an outie?
It was like somebody put a fire hose up her and turned it on.
Oh, dear God. That's horrifying.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to give me nightmares about vaginas?
I'm covering the nice stuff. We're getting into pedophiles next. I'm just saying. So I didn't even realize that was a thing. I don't know how you guard against that. I guess hang on tighter. Don't ride on the back of a jet ski. Have a husband who notices when you fall off. I honestly don't know. It's fucking horrible. it's just a story that somebody brought to my attention earlier today, and then right before the show, it came up again. But yeah, this poor Russian woman. Ugh, ugh. That's I. You know, Jack, we as men, we have to deal with painful groin injuries all the time, especially if you're around children, because they just have that perfect height where they will hit you in the nads constantly.
Yeah.
But I've never been worried that my nuts will blow out. You know what I mean? For
I
me,
do
if I was a
now.
woman right now, this would be like going to the beach and Jaws when that came out. Be like, nah, no thanks. I'm not getting on a jet ski.
And you're on your cycle, you know.
It's just, oh, who knew that could happen? So, ladies, here's my best guess. Duct tape that shit shut if you're gonna go onto a jet ski. Maybe some super glue and some spackle and duct tape just to hold it all shut for you. That is like the world's worst douche ever.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even know what to say to this. I hadn't heard this story. I missed it. I have been kind of scatterbrained on Twitter today, but oh dear God, this is horrifying.
Do they have cups for women? I hope they get them, Ebony. I hope they get them. This should be on that show, 1,000 Ways to Die. Remember that thing?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
There's a magazine, 40 Times used to do a column every couple months about weird deaths, and this would rank up there pretty high.
Yeah, they were out on the Samara River in July, and she fell off the back, and yeah, it's technically called a genital rupture. Now, let's move on to darker stuff, shall we?
Yeah, it gets worse
That's right.
from here, guys.
We're going from dead woman to the darker stuff. Fuck.
From genital rupture to the god-awful things that Monkey has in store for you.
Well, the first one is the Epstein client list, and frankly, a lot of it we already knew. And we didn't get a full drop today. We got a lot of names that we already knew, including people like Stephen Hawking. I don't even know what to make of that information.
They just put an abacus in front of him, and he's like, "Oh."
Thank you, Comrade Kitty, for becoming a member for another month. That is month number 6. Thank you. Hang on, Monk. Let me get my popcorn. Wait till we get to the video. Let's talk about what's not in the list. Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is mentioned twice in the court documents. One, it's Epstein saying that they were going to stop by Trump's casino. Not that they were going to see him or anything like that. They just say Trump's casino. And in the other one of the girls is specifically asked, were you asked to touch Mr. Trump? And she said no. Those are the only 2 places he's mentioned in there. He is not implicated in any manner in any of this shit. Anybody telling you otherwise is a lying cocksucker.
Yeah. Real quick, I'm going to drop a link to everything that was put out today. Otho sent me this one.
Oh, cool.
And it's this is all one document, and I'll also give you the link to the site Alex Jones tweeted out, which is Court Lister, which has all the individual documents, so you can kind of pick and choose. I personally prefer to have it in smaller doses because you get a 900-page document, it gets a bit overwhelming.
Yeah, and that's why I just brought up a story instead of any of the list, because there are quite a few names that came out today.
Well, there's a lot of documents that are just not relative to anything. They're just court procedural crap.
Sure.
So you get a 900-page document, and 3/4 of it is completely worthless to what you're trying to look at. And they're just various filings. A lot of them are redundant. So scrolling through those big lists, I can't do it. Plus, it makes it easier if you just want to look at one specific document to print that one off instead of trying to find it in the big mess. But there's both versions. so you can have at it however you want.
Understatement asks if there's more coming. Yes, this is not the entirety of it as far as I knew last. All right, so Clinton is mentioned more than 50 times, which we had heard, last week, the week before, that he was going to be mentioned like 50 times.
Yeah.
He's not directly implicated, but the man was on the plane like 26 times.
At least.
And we do know that some stuff was redacted. While this says that his representatives didn't object to the unsealing, remember, there is some of this stuff. There are some names that are still redacted.
Yeah. Most of the stuff that I saw that was redacted was email addresses and home addresses. But there is definitely some stuff not in here.
Not saying that Clinton is named anywhere, but I'm just throwing that out there because we all know that dirty pervert was fucking kids. Alan Dershowitz. Jack, do you know he's on Rumble?
No, I didn't know that.
Neither did I until today. He put out a video discussing just because you're named in something it's just guilt by association, you see.
Yeah, he's been doing this deflection dance for a long time.
And for the record, he has been specifically named as being a pedophile. That came out a while ago that he specifically, not he was there, not his name was mentioned. No. That he was a guilty party.
Yeah, he's always denied it, but
I tuned into his Rumble thing for a couple of minutes, and I had to turn it off because he was disgusting me. Not just because of what he said, but because he looks like a turtle that got run over. And he says, "Hey, look, in these kind of things, you have to know the names of the people, of the victims." Why you want the names of the victims out there, Alan? And he says this, so that we can look into everything with their credibility.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because it's the credibility of teenage victims of sex trafficking that we need to look at.
That teenage whore that I banged, she seduced me, damn it. Or no, I mean, I didn't touch her. Look, I don't know what Alan did, but I'm sorry, these people that were with Epstein and went and hung out on his island, and I just think badly of them.
Yeah. I mean,
especially
the island has a reputation.
Especially given that this man was originally convicted and confessed, actually, back in 2008 to lesser crimes so that he could get that sweetheart deal.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these people were still friends and hung out with him afterwards.
Yep.
Remember, by 2008, when he has his, I solicited an underage prostitute. That's what he's actually, guilty of, Jack. Yeah, he was banging little kids. Yeah. But at that time, it had already been 4 years since Donald Trump told this guy to get fucked. But they still try to link him to Trump. In fact, I believe it's that story that you had sent me from the Post where they mentioned that Trump is mentioned in here twice. And they actually bring up the part about Epstein saying they were going to Trump's casino. And they just leave it at that. Mm-hmm. Like it was leaving the suggestion that they were going to go, take these little girls to have sex with Trump.
Yeah, that was the implication they kind of alluded to.
Yeah, without actually saying. Meanwhile, Dershowitz has gotten away with being a fucking dirty scumbag in all of this.
Yep, just by denial. And he's on Fox News a lot. And they let him slide on this shit. They're like, oh, okay, you didn't do nothing, cool.
Every time. I've seen him on several places since he was implicated, and all of them, they still treat him with deference. The man is a scumbag defense attorney, and he was banging little girls on Epstein's plane and at the island. At least, allegedly. According to court documents. I guess we can say it that way, right? According to court documents. I don't have to say allegedly.
I don't know how this...
Fuck that pedophile works. Piece of shit. Sue me, I dare you. I got nothing.
I owe nothing. I have no money, and Discovery will be hilarious.
Jean-Luc Brunel is another one who his name came up. This is a guy who he was found dead, or not. Sorry, not found dead. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know where my brain just went.
I don't know.
I know where my brain just went. I read the found dead right there, right under his name. That's not what I meant to say. I meant to say the former model agent who he's another one that's been known for a while, that his name was mentioned alongside this. Another one who's gotten a free pass because everybody related to this has gotten a free pass except for Ghislaine. Everybody but Ghislaine has gotten away with whatever they did.
Look, a strong woman.
Now, I'm not saying she doesn't deserve to be in prison, Jack. I'm just saying that there's probably a whole lot of people who deserve to be there with her, including former President Clinton and Alan Dershowitz. Prince Andrew's name comes up again because, of course, it did. Prince Andrew, the guy who doesn't sweat. That's what he told us when he said that there was a picture of him hugging on one of these little girls who accused him of touching them inappropriately. And he said the picture was fake because there's sweat stains, Jack, and he doesn't sweat. He had a condition where he didn't sweat.
Yeah, that might be a real condition, but who said it was his sweat?
It is a real condition. It's not one he suffered from, and it was quite clearly him in the picture.
Oh, yeah, it's totally not photoshopped. But I think he was just trying to savor in some girl flavor or something gross like that. Look, that dude looks like a pervert. He sounds like a pervert when he talks because he's always trying to deflect, and his denials come off a little too enthusiastic, shall we say.
His own mother took away the ability for him to call himself a royal highness because of this shit.
Yeah, because they probably know about his predilections. Dude seems like a pervert. So I don't know, but he seems to fit the criteria, as the kids would say.
Comrade Kitty, thank you. The plane of pedos is here. I can't do that little man's name or voice. What's his name? Tattoo. What was his name?
On the show, he was Tattoo. His real name was Villichez.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole different kind. That is criminal fantasy island right there. Dog Resurrect, thank you. Everyone explicitly named and shamed on that list that went to the island deserves. Comment has been suicided to the back of the head twice. Thank you so much for that feminist $12. Thank you, Keldrig. I'd argue that Epstein himself didn't get away with it either. Somebody with connections made sure of that. All right, I'm going to disagree with you slightly on that. In the long run, yeah, they got him. But he should have been in prison for a decade at least back in 2008. And the prison term he did get was he was allowed out of jail 12 hours a day, 6 days a week.
Yep.
So that he could continue his business. It was that important that he do it. 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, he was allowed to be out of prison for having sex with a child. So I would argue he did get away with it.
He had enough dirt on enough powerful people that he got away with it.
So yeah, the list itself, I mean, I guess I'm glad we're getting to see something, but this is all just coming from the court records. What we're still missing is all the stuff from the island.
Yeah, his little black book, all the videotapes.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of evidence that they haven't released, and maybe the FBI is extorting these people. I don't know. But they're covering up a lot of serious criminal activity and not doing a fucking thing about it. And that's what makes me the most angry about this.
Yeah, because this coming out is great. Okay, we get to see their names and we can be suspicious of them, but nothing is happening to anybody involved here. Nothing. None of these people are up on criminal charges. But hey, it was just them raping some children, right?
Yeah, just.
Anyway,
Fucking
Michael
gross, man.
Jackson and David Copperfield are named, but there's no naming of them doing anything wrong. They were just spotted at the island.
Yeah, that'll help Michael Jackson's reputation.
Well, I mean, everything that people talked about Michael Jackson and kids, it was always boys, and the island was known for girls. So,
Well, that's true.
maybe Macaulay Culkin was there one weekend. I don't know.
David Copperfield just made him disappear.
Look, it's perfectly possible that some people went to Epstein's island, knew nothing about his weird child sex thing going on there. It's entirely possible people knew Jeffrey Epstein and didn't know he was banging kids. Is it likely, though?
No.
I mean, Epstein wanting to have celebrities around him, I could see that. Have celebrities on the island and they don't really know what's going on. Sure, that could happen.
Yeah.
But Alan Dershowitz? Really? What, you guys were just that close of friends because reasons? You're both Jews, I guess? Maybe that was it?
Solidarity. No, I could see some people not knowing his reputation fully and going to the island on like a quasi vacation thing, and then being like, "Oh, there's some weird shit going on here. This guy's got a reputation. I've heard people saying stuff here," and then not going back or associating with him again. But
You know who absolutely did know?
who?
Alan Dershowitz.
Yeah.
You know how we know that? He's the one that worked out that deal with prosecutors back in 2008 to give Epstein such a light slap on the wrist.
Yeah. Yeah. I could also see some celebrities like going there and being misled, not knowing how old the girls were.
Yeah.
But I think that's a pretty thin defense.
I would be more inclined to believe that they didn't know that was going on and they were just there because, hey, you want to come down to my private island and hang out? And they were like, yeah, Caribbean island, cool. And
Yeah.
knew nothing about the old child thing to begin with. But there are people who absolutely knew.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I don't think Dershowitz can claim ignorance.
You help get a deal for a guy who's banging underage kids. And then you go to his private island where there's underage kids and you don't think maybe this is a bad look. Let's give Dershowitz the benefit of the doubt here. He didn't do it. He did, but let's say he didn't, right? Why would you go to his island after that?
Yeah, it's a bad look at the minimum. But you know what kind of person he is. And then you went to his island?
Yeah.
Please.
Understatement says they were there for regular hoes, not the young ones. That's possible too.
Yeah.
It's possible that there was more than just underage sex trafficking going on there. I mean, but we don't know because all of the files magically disappeared. They're hidden in a vault somewhere in the J. Edgar Hoover building. Don't worry, none to see here.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll get the rest of the names as they leak out. I don't think we're going to see any real surprises on there. Jimmy Kimmel breathed a sigh of relief so far today because his name didn't pop out.
Yeah, his name got mentioned twice.
Fucking Jimmy Kimmel. In Davy's locker, yeah, that's they probably set fire to him before they threw the boxes overboard, if we're being honest. Ashes got thrown overboard.
Yeah.
You don't want to have the possibility that somehow paper got preserved. And like you said, man, that is the part that is so frustrating and irritating about this. Epstein is not the only criminal involved here, and it's all been laid at his and Ghislaine's feet, even though these girls, all right, let's for argument's sake say that they're wrong. It's amazing how often they got it right about who was at the fucking island when, who was on the plane when. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could it be coincidental? Could they just be like, ooh, this is my shot? I guess. But if that was their shot, why are they remaining anonymous? It's not like they're doing this for book deals or anything. Oh, they got some of Ghislaine's money, I guess. But you didn't need Ghislaine's money, or you didn't need Dershowitz for Ghislaine's money. All you had to prove was Epstein. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no reason for them to drag in these other people. And maybe they're just spiteful. It's disgusting that this has been swept under the rug the way that it has been.
Yeah. It does show how powerful pedos have become in our society, and how they seem to be in the upper echelons of government and influence. So it's pretty disturbing. So yeah, all of this should have been released a long fucking time ago. All the names in the little black book should have been released, but they're not going to do it. We'll probably never know the true extent of this. And if we do, it'll be when everybody on the list is long dead and nobody gives a shit anymore.
Yep. You're not wrong. All right, a palate cleanser before we get to the creepy guy. This is Phoebe with her Christmas present. Phoebe loves packing paper, Jack.
That's interesting.
I noticed it because she would get in boxes and knock the packing paper out and play with it. And so I just started letting her play with it. And it's like her favorite toy. But she plays rough, and it eventually gets destroyed to the part where it's like we just have trash laying in the house now. So for Christmas, Lady Monkey got her own roll of packing paper.
Aw.
Yeah, she has like hundreds of feet of packing paper now. And this is her playing with one of them. She's hiding under it. You can't see her when she's under there. She's a ghost. She's a ninja.
Oh, she's like Solid Snake.
But as you can see from the look on her face, even under there, she does not like having her picture taken. She does not like cameras. Get that damn thing out of my face. The cat doesn't look happy. Yeah, that's because there's a camera in her face, and she does not like cameras. She's Amish. I can't help it. I didn't realize I was buying, or I didn't even buy. I didn't realize I was getting an Amish cat when we got her. But that's okay because she's cute as shit. I don't even know how to set this one up, Jack. If I'm being honest, I don't know that we could do it much justice giving it a setup. But there is some background needed. This guy who goes by the name, how do you say that again? Yandere Dev. I don't speak. Look, guys, I'm an American, and I'm not one of those people who pretends they're Japanese and pronounces shit in that weird accent. Fucking weebs. Yandere, whatever. Yandere boy here is famous on the internet for being kind of a fucking weirdo. He's been making a video game for about 10 years now.
Oh.
Called Yandere.
Is this like Temple OS?
Dude, okay. So in this game, you go to a Japanese high school, which is oddly all adults in it. So that it's not creepy, you see.
Oh, yeah. It's totally not making it creepy.
Because the point of the game is to murder students, and one of the activities you can do is take upskirts.
Oh, yeah. Can you do sharking too, where you just fondle chicks on buses as a side game? Because that's not weird either.
Look, the guy's a fucking weirdo. But it comes out a couple months ago that he had been having inappropriate conversations with an underage fan. The girl in question is 16 years old. And it blew up a little bit. People were talking about it. And then he just kind of disappears until the other day. On New Year's Day, he decides to drop this video. Why? I don't fucking know. Now, I didn't know a lot about this story, but I'm going to be very honest with you. About 3 minutes into this video, I'm like, oh, this bitch is guilty as fuck.
Yeah.
This has to be one of the worst apologies I've ever heard.
This wasn't an apology video. This was a PR stunt.
He calls it an apology, though. So Here's Yandere Dev, and he's going to let us know the tea, Jack. What really happened? My apologies, ladies and gentlemen, for being the one who introduces you to this.
Oh, real quick before we get into this, thank you, Keldrick. It makes sense now why people like Mark Ruffalo come to defense of people like his good friend JoJo. Yeah,
right?
Never trust a celebrity. They're weirdos and degenerates.
Hello, I'm Yandere Dev, the developer of Yandere Simulator.
He just said Yandere 2 different ways.
I assumed that he was trying to say 2 different words, but...
Hello, I'm Yandere Dev, the developer of Yandere Simulator.
All right.
I don't know.
All right,
know
so
how any of this shit works.
Yandere Simulator is the game where you can take upskirts of high school adults. Sure, let's run with that.
Yeah, adults, air quotes.
Last year, an extremely serious allegation was made about me that I would like to address.
I mean, it was an allegation, but it's absolutely true. And that part's not in question. He was talking about sex with a minor.
The accusation is that I attempted to groom an underage fan of my game. I will take...
I want to stop right there because I have seen the groom thing, but not everybody says he was grooming. I don't know if what he did actually qualifies as grooming, Jack.
I mean, I would have to see what actually was being said back and forth. But it sounds more like it wasn't exactly grooming. It was more just
creepy,
inappropriate conversations.
Yeah. Conversations a 30-year-old adult should not be, I think he's like 35, should not be having with a 16-year-old. Oh, wow. I don't know how I'm supposed to say that. Furcane Lopamit. Thank you so much for the donation. It says, for the cute kitty. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Take accountability and admit that I did discuss inappropriate topics.
The end. 20 seconds. There you go.
Oh, well, you say I had inappropriate conversations. I'm sorry. That was not acceptable, and I'm going to strive to do better. The end. 30-second thing. But,
however, the accusation that I deliberately attempted to groom this fan is false.
All right, can we stop right there? Did you hear what he said? The accusation that I deliberately tried to groom this fan is false.
I was just going to accidentally get in her drawers.
It was an accident, y'all. I didn't deliberately do it. Oh, that was the first bell that went off. Like, wait, did he just say deliberately? Really? That is an adjective you should not need in that sentence.
One would think, but here we are. Oh, thank you, Evolved Potato. Yandere is a Japanese term, usually in manga and anime, meaning an obsessive, emotionally unstable, and just crazy. Usually a girl obsessing about a guy, or so a woman. Yeah. I remember this game from a while ago. It was mostly a meme, and not a lot of people took it seriously.
Well, the game was never finished, and a bunch of YouTubers did play it, and they mostly mocked it.
Yeah, I've never heard of this thing.
Alan, thanks so very much. He says, morning. Good morning, sir.
Morning, Alan.
I slipped on a banana peel and accidentally groomed a girl, right? I didn't deliberately do it, y'all.
It's just a wiener went, whoops, I do see.
It goes from bad to worse. I mean, well,
in this video, I would like to apologize for what I feel I should apologize for.
Okay, that's not an apology. Pause it right there. That is, I'm going to apologize for what I think I need to apologize for. You don't feel bad about anything, you fucking idiot.
For what I feel I should apologize for.
Oh, man.
For what I feel.
Thank you, Alan, for that generous donation. This is Morning Jack. Good morning, Alan. Hope you're doing well.
Apologize for what I feel I should apologize for. But I would also like to give you the full story so that you know what is true and what isn't true.
Now, for the record, it is very likely that some of the stuff that came out was faked.
Yeah.
But a lot of it was not. Like when he accuses the girl of grooming him, and suggests that she's doing so by having leverage over him. She's got the power dynamic in the relationship. That's a real thing that happened.
Yeah, well, look, he's just too far in now. Like, he's committed. It's like poker. You're pot committed. He just had to keep going with the sex talk, or she might extort him or something.
Let's start at the beginning. Last year, a fan of my game contacted me and wanted to chat. Usually, when a fan tries to talk with me, I just tell them that I'm too busy. But this person seemed really nice and friendly and funny, so I decided, you know what? Sure, let's talk.
Okay. This is another part that made me go, wait a minute, what? Normally, Jack, if a fan approaches him, he's like, I'm too busy. But something that this girl said in reaching out to him was smart and kind and funny.
Indeed.
All right.
By the way, the constant staring straight ahead is super creepy, first of all. It also looks like he's trying to hide emotion.
He looks like ISIS is standing behind the camera with a gun.
Yeah, but I think the dude might have like some tism or something. Like, he's got some kind of psychological issue, because the way he talks, the inflection is deadpan almost the entire time. The face is straightforward. There's no expression. It's kind of weird. It bothers me, and it makes me not trust him.
Well, a lot of this that he's saying here, by the way, should be pointed out that he said this at the time as well. A lot of this is verbatim from an apology that he wrote back. I want to say this all blew up in October.
Oh, let me grab a couple of chats here.
Please do.
Thank you, Furcane Lopamit, for the donation. Spreading a little post-New Year's cheer. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you, Froggy. Off topic, but do you guys talk to your pets? I'm asking for someone who thinks it's weird to do so. Oh, I talk to pets all the time. They understand you. They understand, like, the inflection of your voice. A lot of them understand certain words, food related usually, in their names. I can actually tell Rico to go in the kitchen, and he'll go in the kitchen. He knows he's really smart.
I talk to Phoebe all the time. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's kind of weird not to talk to your pets if you care about them, because they are members of the family and they do live in the house. And more often than not, they do at least get a general impression as to what you're talking about, in the sense of whether you're mad or not. They understand no and stuff like that.
Phoebe loves to be brushed now. She didn't like to, but, with just a little brushing here and there, she's learned to really love it. But you know what she really likes? She likes to be brushed while told how pretty she is.
Yeah.
She'll start making biscuits. Like, oh, yes, tell me how pretty I am.
The way you talk to them, it does make that, they get comfortable or agitated depending on your inflection.
Okay.
Well, the pets need to get a job. Yeah. Being adorable is a job. It's just not a paying one.
Speaking of talking, Libra said, so he doesn't talk to fans. Why this one? Well, he just told us because she was funny and smart and kind. Apparently all the other ones are really boring and mean and rude. Or this one's a 16-year-old girl and he likes 16-year-old girls. Don't worry, all the girls in his high school video game are adults. Anyhow.
She let me know right off the bat that she was 16, but
you're in your 30s. That's when you say, "Oh, sorry, you're 16. It's inappropriate for us to be having conversations like this behind the scenes."
Yeah. If you find out that there's a 16-year-old trying to talk to you, don't talk to them. End of story.
If one of our fans was 16 and they reached out like, "Hi, I'm 16, but I was wondering, could you recommend a good place to start for YouTube?" I would answer them. We would not become friends.
That's different.
Yeah.
That you're giving like a 1 or 2 time response thing. You offer some technical assistance. That's pretty safe area. When they start drifting into like, hey, let's exchange naughty jokes. No.
She let me know she was 16. End of conversation, right? Well, you guys see the video goes on for another 15 minutes, so.
I didn't
This
see
was
any problem with it.
painful to watch.
She let me know right off the bat that she was 16, but I didn't see any problem with that.
That's a
10 years
problem,
ago.
sir.
The fact that he didn't see that, there's either something wrong with him or he has less social skills than even Hasan.
No, Jack, there was something wrong with him. We'll get to that in just a little bit.
When I was 16, I had online friends that were in their 20s and 30s.
Women you made sexual jokes with?
Yeah, were they potential sexual partners? Because why are you look? I had friends when I was 16. Yeah, okay, you had some weirdo friends too. So fucking what? It does not help your image when you're talking to a teenage girl.
So it just didn't feel weird to me. In the beginning, our conversations were normal, but she had a kind of adult sense of humor, and every now and then she would bring up a topic or ask a question that wasn't really appropriate.
And so you stopped communication right there, right?
Clearly not. This is a typical justification that you hear from people that get
Groom
busted
children.
in sex things.
Yeah.
They say things like, well, she was mature for her age. You hear that a lot, and it's with both genders too. They'll say that about boys as well. Oh, he's very mature. No, that's a justification, and it's a really dangerous one.
Yeah, look, if at that point, yes, this is absolutely victim blaming, Jamie.
Yeah.
At that point, even if everything he said is true up to right now, right? She starts the conversations, it makes inappropriate comments. You are the adult. That's where you go. Nope, nuh-uh, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't mean to hurt your feelings or anything, but I am an adult and this is not appropriate for us to be talking about.
A lot of what he does in here is responsibility dodging.
And Dangerous brings up a good point. Maybe you're immature for your age.
Yeah, well, there's that.
Rather than maybe she seems mature because you have the mental acuity of a 16-year-old. And you're in your 30s, fucker. You dirty bitch.
Yeah, it's just the fact that he's trying so hard to justify his communication with an underage person. It's pretty weird, dude. And saying that, oh, she was mature for her age and she seemed to know some adult stuff. No, you are minimizing, and that is a sign of guilt.
DK asks, why is he dressed like he's going to blow up a post office?
Accurate.
You're not
Or
wrong.
a federal building. Like, so.
When this would happen, I wasn't entirely comfortable with it, but I rationalized to myself that it was no big deal and just kept talking with her.
That's a problem.
That's a big problem.
Eventually, I must have said something that sounded like a red flag to her, because at some point she started to record our conversations just in case I turned out to be some kind of predator.
Well, that was forward thinking. Just in case he turned out to be some kind of predator, Jack.
Yeah. Just in case.
Now, it should be noted that according to the girl, or at least who is claimed to be the girl, she started recording these because she thought it was funny and she wanted to put some sound bites into a soundboard for her and her friends.
And that sounds like something a teenage girl would do. Either that or this was some sort of blackmail scheme from the beginning. Either way, it could have been avoided by him simply not talking to a teenage girl.
Danger says this whole thing is a fucking red flag, dipshit. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Real quick.
Fuck.
Thank you, Dark Resurrect, for that feminist donation. Why does he look like Wish.com Hunter Avalone? The chin beard does not help.
Right.
She showed our conversations to a YouTuber, and the YouTuber decided, yep, this guy seems like a groomer. We need to.
All right, so this needs to be discussed too. He's kind of shortening everything down here. She actually showed the conversations to her friends, and one of her friends went, "This seems fucked up. You should reach out to this YouTuber." That's the official story. I'm just giving the full background here. I did a lot of research on this today, Jack.
I'm sorry, because this just looks really irritating.
It really is.
I'm sure this is very, very condensed because this is his version. And I think there's a lot missing that he did not bring up. But the stuff he says just blows my mind. Like, what is wrong with you, dude?
To expose him. From what I've been hearing, it kind of sounds like the YouTuber started coaching the girl on how to manipulate me into saying things that would make me look bad, which wasn't what the girl wanted. But you don't have to just take my word for it. The girl has written a statement about the entire situation, giving her side of the story. I've put a link to it in the description.
This says, Allie coached me into being exactly what he wanted based on years of her online stalking, along with a community dedicated to bring him down. She used the same techniques that the FBI uses during sting operations. Curate a specific environment, build trust, lure in, take down. All right, one, you're using the words of a 16-year-old to defend you.
Yeah.
The victim in the case.
Yeah.
For the record, the girl who was anally raped by that shitbag, what's his name? The guy who went to France, the Hollywood guy.
Damn. Polanski.
Roman Polanski, thank you. The 13-year-old girl who was raped by Roman Polanski says she doesn't think he should actually go to jail either.
Yeah, well, I mean, for her, it's been 30-some years. But, look, this girl might be easily manipulated, or she might have felt like she got him in trouble and she feels bad about it. There's a lot of reasons that victims might write a letter like this, especially if they're under some kind of pressure or fear. But again, he's minimizing, saying this YouTuber put her up to this. That may not be necessarily the case. She said, well, how do I know if he's a pervert? Well, you can do these things and see what he says. And if it's something like start a conversation about sex with him, she starts a conversation and he participates. He still participated in the conversation, even if it was entrapment.
None of this happens if he doesn't engage her in that way.
Yeah.
If he is the adult, if he's not a fucking creep, if he goes, you are 16, this is inappropriate, I'm sorry, I cannot talk to you. None of this happens.
Yeah. And understatement's right. She should have gone to the cops.
Should have, sure.
So, look, don't talk to teenagers, guys. It's a terrible idea. It won't end well. Unless they're your children, don't have conversations about sex with other people's kids. And even then, I don't want to know about my kid's sex life. Be like, that's why I pay taxes for you to go to health class. So I don't have to talk to you about this shit.
For Kane Lau permit, God, I hope I'm even close on that. What I'm hearing is that someone hurt this person because they were hurt at a young age. That gives him all the validation he needs internally to act in a potentially inappropriate way that he felt was correct. Even if it's true, it's still not right. He never makes any indication that he was ever abused. Could that be the case? Maybe, but it's not. That's not where he goes. You will not believe where this motherfucker goes to excuse his behavior.
Yeah.
And thank you, Adebisi, for the donation with no message. I appreciate it, my friend. All right, back to retard here.
Description below. I won't tell you what to think about it. You're welcome to read it for yourself and draw your own conclusions.
All right, let me draw my own conclusion. This fan of yours who says she reached out because she was a fan, it's talked into exposing you for the fucking creep you are. And when it blows up and she realizes that this guy that she has a crush on and is a huge fan of, that she got him in trouble, she decided to try to do damage control to save him. There you go. There's what I think happened, shitbag.
Yeah.
He welcomed me to make my own conclusion. And that's actually the one that fits best.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to know what kind of conclusions I'd draw from this. Look, I've worked with victims of sex offenses, and I've worked with perpetrators of sex offenses.
I'm so sorry. It just, Bubba wraps it up perfectly. Here's my conclusion. She is 16.
Exactly. But what we always used to hear from the perpetrators was various justifications Oh,
Yeah.
she liked it. Oh, she wanted me to do that. And when they would groom people, they would always say, well, she seemed more grown up. I heard that way more than I ever care to admit. And you're not allowed to strangle them. But for some reason, there's a rule against that.
Yeah.
But when you'd hear the victims, they're like, well, I didn't realize that he was just trying to take advantage of me. You know, they would talk about how nice they were and how they would actually treat them like an adult. They're still teenagers.
Yeah.
You can't treat them like adults. Their brains aren't formed yet. They think they're more grown up than they are. And we would see it all the time. It's fucking horrific, man.
And this is why we put the onus on adults, not the children. Children make bad decisions sometimes. And it's the adults' responsibility to go, oh, look, that's very nice of you, but we can't talk like that.
Yeah, like this is not an appropriate conversation. That's how you avoid, catching a charge, guys. Oh, real quick. Thank you, Adabisi, for the generous donation. Donating to Jack's Cat Whispering Psychiatric Fund. Well, I probably do need some help. I don't know. I like kitty cats. When I talk to them, I say things like, "Who's a good kitty here?" And then I try and give them scratches. They usually try and avoid me.
And meanwhile, I am the kitty cat whisperer. Just I'm the pussy whisperer. All right, here we go. Not the female vagina kind, the furry little four-legged creature kind.
Blowing it out.
Yeah, because the other kind I am confused by. I'm just going to be honest. Here we go. Speaking of confused.
So, with the YouTuber apparently instructing the girl on how to steer our conversations in an inappropriate direction, our discussions got pretty weird.
Then why were you having those discussions? Oh, no, it's this YouTuber who manipulated her and therefore sucked me into a conversation about boobies. No, that's not how that works, asshole.
I just want to reiterate that this is why I don't consider this an apology or him taking any real responsibility. He had these conversations, but it wasn't his fault. The underage girl he was talking to was being manipulated into putting him into these situations.
Yeah, he plays the victim throughout this entire so-called apology. This is not an apology video. He says, I'm sorry, but he's not apologizing for doing this. He's just apologizing for getting caught.
Yep.
And, oh, I'm socially awkward. Oh, I'm weird. Oh, I'm quirky. No, you're a fucking idiot.
Wait for it,
Possibly a
guys.
kid diddler.
I think we're getting close to the part where he explains why he did it.
Oh, so enraging.
Which is more angering than what we've heard so far.
I wasn't comfortable with it, and I tried to express that, but like an idiot, I just went along with it anyway.
Did you try to express that you were uncomfortable, or did you go along with it? Those are diametrically opposed.
Yeah, if you went along with it, you obviously were not that uncomfortable. You should have ended the conversations.
Yeah, when I'm uncomfortable with a conversation, I'm not comfortable with this, that's the end of the conversation.
Yeah, why are you still engaging with somebody that makes you uncomfortable? That's weird. I don't go up to homeless people and say, please tell me about your tinfoil theories.
Maybe she wasn't mature enough to get his uncomfortability.
He hasn't shown any emotion at all. How does he express discomfort?
Dude comes off like he could be sitting here reading me his grocery list, and like this, I'd think that he should probably be on a list.
Yeah, the deadpan nature of, like, he's not defensive, he's not reacting. It makes it look disingenuous. Maybe there's some kind of personality quirk or something that makes his affect so flat, but it doesn't make it believable. It makes him come off as, like, dismissive and disingenuous.
It'd be silly. Says she trapped me by being 16. Yeah, exactly. All right.
Because I had gotten into the habit of being really candid around this girl and just casually responding to whatever she said, it was very easy for her to get recordings of me answering questions I shouldn't have answered. And just
no, it was really easy for her to get those recordings because you were answering. It wasn't because you were candid around her. It was because you were talking to a minor in manners that you shouldn't have been.
Yeah. The fact that you were comfortable saying these things around her is the biggest red flag of all.
Yeah. I got so comfortable being candid with a 16-year-old.
Because she's
I
so mature for her age, Monkey.
I wouldn't have candid conversations with my 16-year-old child. It would
Yeah.
all be colored by the fact they're 16.
Yeah, and they don't have the same thought pattern as an adult. It's
And there's things that aren't appropriate with a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
Unless you're 16 yourself.
Yeah. And it's not your child. You don't know this person, and you're having weird sexual conversations with her. What in your mind? He even says that people tried to warn him. I know I'm getting a little ahead, but this video really made me mad. This guy's done nothing but minimize, deflect, and not take responsibility for any of his actions. I don't know how anybody bought this.
Most of the videos that I watch that we end up watching here, and just in general on YouTube or Twitter, I'm half listening as I'm doing other things. This was so bad that by this point he had my full attention.
Yeah.
I stopped everything else I was doing and was just marveling at the retardation on my screen.
Yeah. Yeah. And the weird deadpan nature of it, the constant eye contact, like nobody just said over on Rumble, this comes off as kind of sociopathic.
Yeah.
It definitely comes off as like serious pedo behavior.
I think he's playing up a more sociopath. I think it comes off as more psychopathic. He knows it's wrong. He just doesn't care.
Well, he's trying to get out of getting in trouble.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the difference between a sociopath and a psychopath is sociopaths really don't understand. They don't have the ability to. Where a psychopath, they understand. They just don't give a shit.
Yeah. I think you could look at it either way on this one.
Yeah, I guess. You know what? How about this? He's creepy and should have a shock collar where if he comes within, I don't know, 1,000 feet of a child, he gets zapped.
It's probably a good idea. I would definitely, like, if I was the local high school principal, his picture would be in my office.
His picture would be on the front fucking door.
All the security guards be like on the lookout for this guy. And that chin beard thing really fucking irritates me. Like, look, that trend ended in the 90s, dude, okay?
Mr. Dax said, ask, are cats psychopaths or sociopaths? They're psychopaths. Cats know what they do is wrong. Absolutely.
It's not wrong to them.
Discussing topics I should not have discussed. And the YouTuber then used those recordings to make a 40-minute long video accusing me of being a groomer.
I love that he puts in how long the video is. Like, it would be better if it was a 15-minute video accusing him of being a groomer.
Yeah, like, there's probably a lot of audio recordings that they had to go through.
Bro, I don't know if you're a groomer, but I can see why people would call you one.
Yeah.
You absolutely are creepy. You were doing things with a child you should not have been doing. You clearly knew it was wrong because in one of your conversations, you tell her that she has stuff that she can hold over your head.
Which is a weird thing to say to somebody.
Yeah. That she had the power dynamic.
Yeah, why would you tell somebody that? Like, you have power over me. That's a weird thing to say.
Why would you be in a position where a 16-year-old has power over you?
I don't know.
Yeah. That's quite the question, ain't it?
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Evolved Potato. The only possible viable excuse for this type of situation is if he thought she was an adult, which he already admitted to knowing she was underage.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it's a bit of an issue.
Nobody not me says the guy with the 15-minute apology video. Right?
Out of respect for all of the people in the world who have actually been groomed, we should use the word grooming correctly.
Maybe now's not the time to get on the pedantic side of things.
Yeah, this kind of goes to like the social awkwardness I was talking about. Like, he doesn't seem to understand this is not a defense. Oh, well, you're just using the wrong term for what I was doing. Technically, I'd be a hemophile. Shut up.
Which is basically his argument. And if he would come out afterwards and go, actually, look, I wasn't grooming her. I'm just really fucking creepy and shouldn't be around kids. I'd give him this point.
Yeah, if he was just like maybe the guy is socially awkward and doesn't pick up on cues. I kind of get that impression. That doesn't make it any less creepy, but then he would have a little bit of a.
Keep going with your thought there.
But he tries too hard to justify everything he's doing, and it's like, well, let's get into the semantics of wordplay, the etymology, if you will, of the word grooming. No, they're using it colloquially, which is much different than the DSM-5 version of it. Okay.
Yeah, and it's I do think it's important to keep the term groomer, and that's why I say I don't know if he is or not. I think you should keep that separate. But the problem here isn't whether they call you a groomer or not. The problem is how you were acting with this child. And for you to be like, but hey, it's the wrong word. Okay, fine. But you've also told us that you were manipulated by a child into doing this, but it's okay because the child was manipulated by somebody else and they didn't really want to do it to you.
Yeah.
All of it comes down to what he did. And you are being way too kind to this guy because you keep mentioning the socially awkward thing. I take him as a whole, and I see this fucking video game that he's made, which is creepy as fuck. And I can't separate the fact that he's got a sexualized game about high schoolers from him talking sexually with a child.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not minimizing anything this idiot did. His social awkwardness would just make his perversity more apparent to people.
Well, and I didn't mean to suggest you were defending him in any way.
No,
because I don't think you're saying it in a positive way.
Oh God, no.
I just think it's worse than that. I think that he absolutely 100% knew all along what was going on here. And the only reason it became a problem is because he realized it was being recorded. He realized what was about to happen to him. And suddenly he's the victim.
I think you're probably correct.
Fuck this piece of shit.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about his stupid little video game before this until you told me what it was about. He mentioned it a couple times in here, but I was like, I'm not looking it up. I don't give a fuck. But this dude's, he's just so weird.
Here's the thing. The conversations that I have both online and off, you can record anything I say. I prefer you don't because it's creepy, but I don't say anything that's going to get me in trouble, Jack. You're not going to find me talking to a 16-year-old where, oh my God, they're going to have power over me. Because I'm not a fucking creepy kitty diddler.
Yeah. Pretty much anything I say off air is stuff I've said on air or would say on air. So, I mean, this is what you got. If you don't like me, you don't like me. That's just the way it is. But
we've seen so many of these people get busted with secret recordings. Here's the thing, guys. Stop being fucking creepy behind the scenes. Stop being creepy and it all goes away.
Yeah, don't say and do stuff that you wouldn't do where someone's watching.
By the way, this guy once suggested that the age of consent should be based on a test, like a driver's test.
Oh, he gets into that.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if we're going to watch that far into it.
Ugh.
Don't worry, guys. It was just a mental exercise.
Yeah.
Off the top. He says it like it's off the top of my head. Like that made it better that the first thing he thought of was that.
Yeah. Like we've said some pretty horrific shit on here, but we're clearly making jokes.
Yeah.
I don't know if this guy understands humor.
Be careful what you're saying, Monkey. Could be being recorded right now. I know.
Oh,
shit.
That'd be weird. Wait, there's people watching us?
Oh, he digs even deep. Oh, wait for his excuse. He hasn't got to his, believe it or not, this stuff about, him basically being the victim because the YouTuber who he refuses to name like she's Voldemort, that's not his excuse. We haven't got to his excuse yet.
But to my original point before we move on.
Sorry.
I don't think what he's doing was technically grooming. The person was clearly using the term in the popular social setting sense that people have been using it for the past couple of years.
Well, at the time when this is first blowing up, again, I can see why somebody would think he was actually a groomer. He's having sexual conversations secretly with a 16-year-old.
Yeah, I agree, but I can see why people would think that, but it's not technically the criteria, which is part of his defense.
Yeah.
And it's a stupid, pedantic thing because it's like when people talk about legal terms and they do it in a casual way. It's not the technical legal, Latin translation version of the legalese.
Sure,
but it's still in the colloquial sense being used to define a set of behavior that's really weird and creepy.
I am happy to be perfectly clear on this and say he's not a groomer. He's just a creep who talks sexually with children.
Yeah.
Does that make it better for you, Mr. Yandere, Dev? Is it better if we just lay it out in the proper terms? You're a creep who talks to kids sexually?
Yeah, he has inappropriate conversations with children. Can that be grooming? It can be. But is it specifically in this case? Probably not. He's just a weirdo perv.
Yeah, because part of the grooming process is like isolation, which there's no evidence he did.
Yeah.
He's just a creep who speaks sexually with children. Anyway, in his 30s, guys, I cannot stress. He's not 25. He's not, just a little bit older. No. This motherfucker is 2 decades older than she is.
Yeah, very inappropriate and weird.
Grooming is when an adult tries to establish a relationship with a child with the intention of exploiting or abusing the child. That doesn't describe what I did. I didn't develop a friendship with the girl for that reason. That wasn't my intention.
Fair enough. But that doesn't excuse what you did do.
Yeah. It may not have been his intention, but they got to the point where they were talking about sexual stuff and he didn't stop. So maybe it wasn't the original intention, but it might have become an attraction. I have a lot of problems with his justifications here.
Mm-hmm.
I did not attempt to establish a romantic or sexual relationship with the girl. But after having my behavior explained to me as commonly associated with romance, I can understand how it was interpreted that way.
Why did you need somebody to explain that to you? That, this is how people talk romantically? What? How socially awkward are you, Sheldon?
After having somebody explain to me that I shouldn't be talking about sex with children, I realized people might look at this and think that I was talking about sex with children.
Yeah. What? Somebody had to explain this to you?
Yeah.
Bullshit. Unless you are completely socially inept, even then they might have caught on.
Let me ask you something, Jack. Why did he need this explained to him if he told this girl before any of this came out that she had leverage over him?
I don't know.
He wouldn't know that she had leverage if he didn't think anything was wrong here.
Yeah. There's a lot of contradictions here. Maybe that somebody came up to him and was like, dude, this is pretty creepy. And then they explained it to him and then he told her that she had leverage on him. But that didn't sound like the timeline that he was establishing.
No, because he's talking about after it all comes out. That's after having somebody explain it to me.
I had somebody explain to me how social skills work. I grew up in the wilderness. My name is Mowgli.
Keldrick, thank you. It's like people who distinguish between being a pedophile for young children and hebophiles, the word you're looking for teenagers. Like, yeah, maybe pedophile is technically the wrong term for you, but saying so doesn't make you sound any less like one. Yeah, the only time you'll hear me actually make that distinction is when I'm being sarcastic because I know there's some asshole out there, but she had pubic hair. To me, they're all just little pedophiles.
Yeah, look, dude, just because you don't like Tanner Stage 2 and you prefer 3 doesn't make you any less of a creepy weirdo. All right.
That doesn't mean you should be any closer to an elementary school.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'm only a barred from the elementary, not the middle school. Shut up. Fucking perv.
It's worth mentioning that a lot of the remarks I made only sound bad when they're out of context. For example, there was one time when the girl jokingly said, "You should make an OnlyFans." And I said, "No, that's dumb. No one would ever want to see that." And she said something like, "Come on, it's so easy to make money on OnlyFans."
All right, we're going to stop right there because this is a part that pissed me the fuck off. We're going to go back just a second, Jack. Will you talk to the audience for a moment? First, though, I need to get a drink because this needs to be seen in all of its fucking glory so my head can pop on stream.
Yeah, glory is not the word I would use, but okay. Hey, Pat. How you doing, man? Hope you're doing well. I'm not a pedophile. Pedophiles molest kids. I only talk to them about sex. Big difference, right? We didn't get to the sex. Fucking pervs, man. I understand that this dude has some kind of weird issues, but doesn't justify it. It's not an excuse. It's not a reason. Yeah, Keldrick, the whole thing makes me want to puke. It gets worse as it goes on. The more he talks, the worse it looks.
I'm still here. I'm pouring my drink. I have my headphones on. This guy, I'm sorry. I go back to his video game. The guy's just a creep.
Yeah, he sounds like one. I didn't know that the video game was, upskirt photos and murder. That's weird shit.
In a high school.
It's really weird. Yeah, in a high school. That's
weird,
creepy shit.
That weird high school for all adults that they have in Japan.
Oh yeah, it's like 90210.
Asians are known for failing a lot. Fucking retard. I'm sorry. I cannot just dismiss his awkwardness because I don't think it's real. I don't think he's socially awkward. I think he's playing that up for the notion that I just didn't know.
See, yes, that's not defense though. Even if he is super socially awkward, I didn't know is not a defense.
But we know he did know because of his comments about her having stuff over him.
Absolutely. You can still be socially awkward and not be retarded. So, I'm a very socially awkward person, but I know not to talk to 16-year-old girls, weirdo.
Yeah, that's where it all starts. You're socially awkward, but the one person you decide to actually hook up and become friends and weird sex talk buddies with is a 16-year-old child. Out of all the fans who've reached out to you over the 10 years you've been building this game, you normally tell them, "I'm just too busy. I'm too busy. Oh, you're 16, are you?
Well, hello there.
Hello. Fucking creep. Anyway.
But she was just so smart and funny, monkey.
So mature.
So mature for her age. Ugh, gross.
And when I heard that, I thought, whoa, that's a little concerning. Don't tell me that social media is brainwashing this generation to think that they should just go direct.
Oh, I meant to go back. Okay. I want to get to I want the whole OnlyFans part together. What's that?
He made an expression where his eyes kind of bulge out there.
He does that often. He makes a lot of weird eye movements.
Yeah, but it's so deadpan. Like the few facial expressions he does look artificial and rigid. None of it's natural. Nothing in this video looks natural.
You should make an OnlyFans. And I said, "No, that's dumb. No one would ever want to see that." And she said something like, "Come on, it's so easy to make money on OnlyFans." And when I heard that, I thought, whoa, that's a little concerning. Don't tell me that social media is brainwashing this generation to think that they should just go directly into porn the second they turn 18 because it's the best way to get rich quick. That's a little concerning. I wanted to know if she was joking or if she was being serious. So I asked her, "Are you planning to start an OnlyFans?"
Okay. So he gives us the conversation. She says, you should make an OnlyFans. And he says, nobody would want to see that. And she says, well, you can make a lot of money of that. And then he gives us this long monologue about what was going on in his head. But none of what he said was said to the child. The only answer to the child was, are you going to make an OnlyFans?
Well, I think that, sorry, go ahead.
He tells us that these things only look bad when they're taken out of context. No. They still don't even quite look good when you add context that wasn't in the conversation. You never said that to her. That's not missing context. That's you trying to cover your ass.
I think he's offering this up as another deflection. It's like, look, society sexualized her well before I ever was on the scene. Social media did this. Oh, be afraid. Social media is scary.
He's setting it up so that the actual conversation in context, that's not really the context. Because you see, he had this internal monologue where he's like, oh my God, I can't believe the kids are being told they need to go straight into porn. Yeah, are you going to do it?
Yeah, by asking that, he's concerned for her. He's trying to rescue her. See, he's the hero here. He was just going to meet up with her. He wasn't going to do anything sexual. How could you think that, Chris Hansen?
Mr. Hughes says he pre-ordered her OnlyFans.
Now it's more downloadable content.
Oh, God. But see, this is some manipulative shit. I want you guys to listen to it again. The whole conversation. And notice where he says the actual part that's being spoken versus his internal monologue.
I made only sound bad when they're out of context.
All right.
For example, there was one time when the girl jokingly said, you should make an OnlyFans.
There's the statement.
And I said, no, that's dumb. No one would ever want to see that. And she said something like, come on, it's so easy to make money on OnlyFans.
Statement.
And when I heard that, I thought,
internal monologue.
That's a little concerning. Don't tell me that social media is brainwashing this generation to think that they should just go directly into porn.
Why didn't you say that to her?
Because how come this part's not a defense?
How come this part's not a quote?
You know why.
I know why, because it's bullshit he made up afterwards.
Yeah. And he had his boner in his hand at the time.
Right.
They turn 18 because it's the best way to get rich quick. That's a little concerning. I wanted to know if she was joking or if she was being serious. So I asked her, are you planning to start an OnlyFans?
Okay, she says you can make a lot of money in doing an OnlyFans. And you wanted to know if she was serious or not about you making money in OnlyFans. So you asked her, are you going to make one?
That's not an appropriate question from a stranger on the internet.
If I want to know if somebody's serious or joking, I ask, are you serious or are you joking? Those are how I tend to find out if people are serious or joking, Jack.
Yeah, generally speaking. I mean, I'm crass enough to actually say, so are you making an OnlyFans? Because that is weird. I don't know. But I'd do that to an adult, not a teenage girl.
If he had actually said all of that internal monologue he gave us to the girl, he wouldn't be in this position. But none of that happened. And he wants you to believe that the conversation was taken out of context because he wants you to believe that there was context that was never spoken missing.
It was in the penumbra.
It was in the penumbra. Fucking weirdo.
And of course, the YouTuber used the recording of me saying, are you planning to start an OnlyFans? To frame me as someone who initiates horrifically inappropriate discussions with children.
No, you didn't start it, but you're participating, idiot.
No, I'm going to disagree with you there. He did start this part because she was talking about him making an OnlyFans. He's the one that made it about her being naked on camera.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but technically she started the OnlyFans conversation. So
yep, and he directed it towards her being in OnlyFans, even though everything he told us at that point is her talking about him doing it.
Either way, it's still not something you should be talking about with a child, and it doesn't sound like the YouTuber took you out of context at all.
Not at all.
which is just completely dishonest.
Right. The YouTubers should have known that in the missing part of the conversation that never happened, you actually were concerned for this girl's well-being. That you were concerned that she might sexualize herself when she turns 18.
That's why he was going over to see her with a box of donuts and 5 condoms. Chris Hansen. I was just going to talk to him and make sure they're okay.
I brought the wine coolers.
Yeah. I picked up the McDonald's you wanted. This is so disgusting. Anybody that's watched enough Chris Hansen or been around these kind of predators knows exactly what this person is doing right now. If he didn't do this in a creepy pedo way, this dude needs some serious socialization help.
Well, that is his excuse, and we've got to be coming up to it.
Yeah, it's.
There's a part of me that wants to go point by point down the list of every single questionable or suspicious thing I said and provide context for absolutely everything. But
well, one, if you think you were taken out of context, you absolutely should do that. You should be providing the evidence of how it really wasn't bad. However, in the one example you did give us, you weren't taken out of context at all.
No, and how many times did this happen that this would take so long?
I don't know. This was going on for a while before it got exposed.
Yeah, so if you have a volume of things that were inappropriate in conversations with one person, maybe you're just a weird, creepy person. Have you considered that? Like, if you can't go through every single one of these things in a video, it happened too many times, freak.
Bubba says context is not a synonym for excuse. And that's true. But the problem is context isn't an issue here. Something taking out of context. Okay, let's say you guys got a recording of me saying, I don't like the black ones. And you play that recording. But the first question was, are there any jelly beans you don't like? And my answer was, I don't like the black ones. And you left out the question. That would be taking me out of context. If you put the whole thing in there, that's not taking me out of context. That's just, and in this case, it was literally a recording of him. The context isn't an issue here. It's a bullshit excuse. And I don't mean to yell at you, Bubba, but this is just not about context.
He's trying to make it about context because his thoughts weren't in there. And that's not how it works.
Whoa, that's ultra racist. Exactly. See, you can take what I just said out of context. You can't take what he said out of context. Now, there's no reason he can't come out and go, there was missing context. This is what I was thinking, and I should have put that in there. But that's not what he says. Taking something out of context has a very specific connotation. And that's just not what happened here. The black ones taste like crayons. I don't eat crayons, so I wouldn't know. Nobody.
But that's not really the main issue here.
All of the accusations against you is not the main issue here.
No, the main issue here is you were talking to teenage girls about sexual stuff, freak.
And no, Bubba, I understand what you were saying. Bubba says I was saying he's using context as a synonym for excuse. And I get that. But my issue with it is that he's using context wrong.
Well, he's trying to distract from what really happened by using, there was additional context.
Yep.
Oh, she was very mature. Oh, I got suckered in. No, you're a fucking idiot who was talking to a teenage girl about sexual stuff, and you look like a fucking pervert.
No, Dangerous Spaces, I said you can take what I said out of context, not can't. I didn't enunciate well there. I apologize.
For one thing, a lot of the stuff I said is just weird no matter what the context is. I'll just admit it. But more important...
Yeah, weird's the word I'd use here, creep. How
How
about borderline criminal?
Yeah. How about super creepy?
Importantly, I never should have let conversations like that happen in the first place.
Ding, 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 ding. Get that man a Cupid doll.
How far are we in? Like 5 minutes, and it took
5
him that
minutes.
long to get to that.
That's all you. I shouldn't have had these conversations. It was horribly inappropriate. There is no excuse. It won't happen again. Although nobody would have a reason to believe you.
Yeah.
But that's all you needed to say. You didn't need 15 minutes of blaming everybody else for what you did, dick.
A normal, mentally healthy adult would have just blocked the girl immediately after the very first time she said something inappropriate.
Wrong. It would have been over when she said, I'm 16.
Yeah. But mementos. See, I was just in a bad place when these happened. No, Matt, no. See, I was in a dark place. Because, I was just unwell at the time, you see. Right, Montel?
Save yourself asking, am I missing something? I thought the age of consent in most states in the U.S. is 16. It is. I don't know where the girl is, whether the age of consent in her state is 18 or 16, which those are the two normal ones. And you can even make the argument what he did isn't criminal if she's not in a state where it's 16, except for federal laws, which is 18. And this is over lines of communication, which are federally controlled.
Yeah.
That said, I don't care if it's legal or not for a 35-year-old to be having sexual conversations with a 16-year-old. They shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah. A lot of people forget that even if you are 16 and you do consent, your parents can still press charges in most states.
Yep.
For statutory rape. So if they had sex, the girls say, well, I consented. And the mom can be like, too bad. He's going to jail. And he's going to go to jail. Unless they have a really overworked children's services,
Yep.
A judge could easily throw him in jail for that. You don't have to like it. It's just the way the laws work.
But I didn't. And having to face that fact was a wake-up call that made me realize I had deteriorated mentally.
There it is, y'all. He was talking sexually with a child because he mentally deteriorated.
Yeah, it was my mentals.
The guy who's been working for 10 years on a game about high schoolers where you can take pictures up girls' skirts. He just deteriorated mentally recently.
How long does it take to make a game?
Depends on what kind of game you're making, how big the team is. From what I've heard, he was being very overly ambitious with this, trying to throw in everything plus the kitchen sink, which could make it take a long, long time.
So after this whole controversy happened, I decided to take some time to just reflect.
After this controversy happened. Like, I'm sorry. That seems minimizing it to me.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm better now. I just needed to go to a pond and stare off into space for a while.
Bubba says, 7 days is on 10 years of alpha. That's true, but 7 days is playable. His game is not. Anyway.
And try to figure out how I had turned into the type of person who would let something like this happen.
You're just the kind of person who would let something like this happen. You didn't turn into it, shithead. It's who you are. Jack, I once wrote a blog post that irritated a couple of people till they finished reading it about the song Let Me Be Myself from Three Doors Down.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite songs. It was on the Geico commercials with the cavemen and all that.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
And the song is a guy speaking to presumably a woman or society. Hey, just let me be me. And I said, if you're the kind of person that has to ask permission to be yourself, you already are being yourself. And a lot of people, yeah, you're kind of right on that. Dude, you didn't become this person. It's who you fucking are. You are the kind of person that when a 16-year-old girl comes up and starts talking sexually with you, you engage in that. There was nothing that caused it to happen. It's not like you could fall down and accidentally become a fucking pedophile, you weirdo. Okay, you can have major brain trauma that changes your personality, but it is serious brain trauma. And if he said that, that he got hit by a car or something, maybe. But that's not his excuse. You guys ready for what caused this mental breakdown?
After talking it over with a lot of different people, I think I've developed an understanding of exactly how things got to this point. And I think I have the vocabulary to explain it now, too.
He worked on his vocabulary for us, Jack.
Yeah, he got a word a day calendar so that he could explain it to us in simple, mostly monosyllabic terms. Because he just didn't have the words to express himself earlier.
Yeah, it's a bitch.
How insulting to your audience is that? Like, oh, I was just really dumb, guys. I was stupid. That's all. I didn't learn English in high school. You're almost 40, dude. If you can't express, oh my god. Anyway,
Ebony says this is not an apology; it's just a list of excuses. I wasn't expecting an actual apology, but still. Oh yeah. It is nothing but excuses and victim blaming and pointing fingers.
Past 10 years, I neglected absolutely every aspect of my well-being in favor of working on my video game project. I almost never left my house for any reason. I had no social life whatsoever, and I had no one that I could call a true friend.
He just worked too hard, Jack.
Oh, poor him. He's such a victim. Look, society did this to him. He has this passion project, and he just threw his all into it, and he just didn't have any friends, man. So he had to talk to this teenage girl that tried to talk to him when he ignored every other person that tried to communicate with him that was a fan, but not this one who was smart and funny and very mature for her age.
It is telling to me that he tells us that immediately she tells him her age, and he's like, "You're going to be my friend." You think that's what the other ones did wrong, and the reason that he didn't befriend anyone else is they didn't start with, "Hey, I'm 16."
Maybe they weren't like, "Hey, I'm a 16-year-old girl. Want to see some pics?" I don't know, but as a borderline shut-in who doesn't like going to things or doing stuff, it's no excuse for talking to a teenage girl about sex stuff. Weirdo! Stop trying to make us all look bad.
His excuse is, I worked too hard. Fuck you.
And she tricked him because she's a cunning woman who hooked up with a YouTuber to trick him into saying sexual stuff.
A lot of people warned me that they could see my mental health deteriorating and that I was exhibiting a lot of self-destructive behavior.
That usually comes in the form of alcohol or drug use or antisocial behavior.
Yeah, not kid diddling.
Not kid diddling.
I have a lot of social anxiety, and I don't have a lot of friends. I'll talk sexual to some teenagers. Yeah, it makes total sense, idiot.
Yeah, and without these friends, who was telling you were deteriorating?
The other voices.
It was one of his alters.
Yeah. Yes, bro. It was her hypno juices got to him.
Fuck.
And I just ignored all of them. I was lonely and depressed and miserable and getting worse every year and doing.
Why didn't you talk to one of them?
Or a shrink.
Doing nothing to make any of it better and ignoring all of the warning signs that were being given to me.
But you found time to talk to the 16-year-old and have sexual conversations. Ask her if she was going to do OnlyFans. Weird.
When you neglect.
All right, stop. I hope that the video's coming through well, because this part is important. Let's just watch it again.
Ignoring all of the warning signs that were being given to me. When you
did you see his eye movement? That pregnant pause right there? That's acting. That is how you're taught that you're supposed to inflect that something's important. You take that pregnant pause. You look down to like you, so people know you're deep in thought.
Yeah, it's one of those things they teach you in speech class about
Yeah.
trying to look dramatic
Yep.
or act like
In
theater
acting class.
101.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's this guy's name again? Rod's asking.
Yandere Dev. Yandere Dev. He's a game developer who was talking to children or to a child inappropriately.
Can we put game developer in big quotes because he hasn't actually finished the game yet?
I mean, he's developing it, so yeah,
It's a whole decade of his life. You know what that sounds like? Marx.
yeah.
I'm working on my great novel about socialism.
Neglect your psychological and social needs that badly for that long, you eventually become so desperate for social interaction and positive affirmation that you become willing to have inappropriate interactions you shouldn't be having.
All right, let's pause there for a second. Jack, you're lonely, right? I don't mean in real life. We're hypothetical.
Oh, yeah, hypothetically.
You're really lonely, and you just want somebody to talk to, and a whole bunch of people keep coming to you going, "Hey, dude, how are you?" Would your answer be, "Oh, I'm fine. How are you?" Or would your answer be, "I'm busy. I got to go talk to the 16-year-old about sex"?
Well, it sounds like what he did was the second choice, but generally, if you're lonely and people are like, "Hey, I really like your kid," be like, "Oh, cool. Thanks, man. What do you like about it? What do you like cheeseburgers? Whatever." But he's clearly
Exactly,
not that
Dangerous.
lonely if he's ignoring all these other people, but this one stood out.
Dangerous, exactly. He says, "Bullshit." The first thing this guy said was people contact him all the time.
Yeah.
This guy, this fucking excuse, it's just so bullshit. Nobody Not Me says, is he using the desperate incel defense? Yes.
Yes, that's absolutely what he's using.
Yep.
I was about to say that. He sounds like an incel. But the problem is that if you aren't paying close attention to this and you're just kind of like listening to it while you're doing something else, you're going to miss a lot of the contradictions.
Mm-hmm.
And the longer this goes on, the more likely you are to notice several, because there's a lot in here where he just contradicts himself or is blatantly just making excuses.
He makes it sound like his only choice to cure his loneliness was to have sexually inappropriate conversations with a child. Like, look, guys, I was so lonely. And when you get that lonely, you'll say anything. All right, I could maybe, and there's huge air quotes around that maybe, Jack. That's a big fucking maybe. I could maybe give you that if you didn't tell us that people were contacting you all the time, if you didn't tell us people were telling you how deteriorated your mental health was.
Mementals.
You've told us all of these people wanting your attention, but the only thing you could do was have a sexual conversation with a teenage girl. All right. I sure, why not?
He was addicted by that point.
As long as it's
struggles with it.
Fulfilling the social needs that have gone completely unmet for years.
You mean with like the people that you talk to on an almost daily basis, according to the people that you worked on this game with? See, that we haven't talked about that, Jack. He's not making this game alone. Well, he is now because everybody quit when these allegations came out.
Yeah, I get it.
But he was not making this game alone. And in fact, they had daily conversations, hours-long conversations every fucking day.
And he was still being antisocial?
He was just so lonely.
I'm so lonely.
He was so lonely that all he could do was talk to a little girl about sex, about her eventual OnlyFans.
Now, have they interviewed the people that you were working with him? And like, did he talk about this girl? Was he talking about his new friend or anything like that?
I saw an interview with the composer for the game. I didn't see him mention anything about them discussing this chick, but I didn't see anything else, so I don't know.
Acknowledging all of this was step one. Step two was determining what I would have to change about my life in order to repair the damage that I had done to my psyche over the past 10 years.
You see that, guys? He's identified the problem. It wasn't his fault he was doing this. He abused himself, and now he had to get better.
He was just so broken, but he's better now. He's better now because people explained to him how creepy it is to talk to teenage girls. And he understands that some things out of context could look bad.
Well, he also goes to therapy. He's going to tell us that in a minute.
Yeah.
And it just reminded me of the South Park episode, the Tiger Woods one, I think it is, where it's like, why do all these rich men keep having sex with these beautiful young women? And they're all like, oh, we're sex addicts. We got to go to therapy for it. This is such a cliche of people like, yeah, I was just in a bad mental place. I got psychiatric help for it. No, some of these people are just fucking creeps.
Yeah.
Some of them are just bad people, like him.
So I decided to just step back from game development for 3 months to just work on myself.
Oh, did you?
And try to develop a more healthy lifestyle.
Did you move up to 17-year-olds?
Were you doing sit-ups or something?
Look at the look on his face there. If you guys have never been around people who actually do acting, he's acting through this whole thing. This is not genuine reaction. This is purposeful.
I started seeing a therapist. I started leaving my house and going outside and interacting with other human beings. I experimented with hobbies that don't involve the use of a computer screen. I found a much better work-life balance.
Oh, that's what it was. That's why he was sexually talking to teenage girls. His work-life balance.
It was that work-life balance, man.
Yeah, it's like his wood element was out of alignment with his fire element. It's that same kind of thing. It was an illness. He's better now. He got some treatment. He's seeing a shrink. Sure, it's through her curtains at night, but he can still see her.
I mean, it's almost the expected thing. I went and got help. You know what I mean? I went to rehab.
Yeah, that's exactly he keeps playing all these angles on this. This is all deflection. It's not even masterfully done. It's sort of pathetic because he's throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks.
Yep. He's throwing out a bunch of buzzwords and bullshit. Everybody told me that how can you both be lonely and not be talking to anybody and people telling you that you're declining?
And most importantly of all, I made friends.
Please tell me they're your age.
No, he met them at a playground.
Yeah, he told us he went outside and he made new friends, and none of this says, with people my own age. Not once does he say that.
Yeah, he's coaching T-ball now.
He's coaching a girls' soccer team.
I developed a social life. I made meaningful connections with people my age.
You made meaningful connections in the 3 months that you also went to therapy to. He's quick.
Did he join the NAMBLA?
I probably. I drive a school bus. Stop it. Went to the local high school for research of his game. Yes. What a fucking weirdo.
That made a bigger difference than anything else.
You know what make a big difference, Jack?
What's that?
Not talking to 16-year-olds.
Oh, I mean, I see where you're going with that, but
Jesus
I
Christ.
bet he would reject it.
I no longer feel so desperate for social interaction that I'd be willing to have inappropriate conversations just to fill some gap in my life.
Oh, that's a poor choice of words.
Right.
Fill some gap.
I was so lonely as all these people were trying to talk to me, and I told them no. The only person I could talk to was the 16-year-old girl. Do you realize how much creepier that makes you sound, dude?
Yeah. And Brand, you're not wrong. This guy's got a totally punchable face.
I feel like I've removed the weaknesses and vulnerabilities that enabled this entire situation to happen in the first place.
What, you're a more cunning pervert now?
It's worth mentioning that sometime after this entire controversy started, 2 images started to circulate. These images are fake Discord screenshots depicting interactions between me and children that have never actually happened.
Fair enough. There's some of the screenshots were fake, but a lot of them were real.
He still admits he talked sexual to a teenage girl. Wildly inappropriate, dude.
Yeah. Now, the one on the left here where he asks some chick if she started her period yet, this is one that was pretty much immediately dismissed by anybody watching all this stuff because it doesn't fit everything else that he was doing and saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, by all means, point out that there were some bad ones. But how come you put up the bad ones but not the real ones?
Because the real ones make him look bad, duh.
He told us the conversation about the OnlyFans, right? He didn't put the transcript on the screen.
Oh, why would he do that? There might be something worse in there.
These images were either created in Photoshop or made by an impersonator using my username and avatar.
All you had to say is they're fake, they're not real. You know, they were either made in Photoshop or somehow using my app. It doesn't matter how they were created, they're fake. You're just trying to make it seem more important. They used Photoshop.
Oh, Photoshop. Yeah, it's part of the minimizing process. You include a lot of elaborate detail that's unnecessary. So you muddy the waters and distract from the topic at hand.
GIMP, yeah, that's what it would have been better if he said it was probably made in GIMP, because that just makes it sound worse. GIMP is a free program that's comparable to Photoshop.
Mm-hmm.
And that just would have sounded better, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It was either made in GIMP. But he only talks like that to 16-year-olds.
This isn't the way that people speak to other people. This is the way that you write dialogue when you're trying to make a comical image for the internet to laugh at.
Why don't you show one of the real dialogues?
Why
don't you show the real one where you're telling her that she has power over you?
These are not real.
So?
Another piece of information I would like to address would be the claim that I was grooming this girl ever since she was 9 years old. That's not true. Apparently, she sent me an email 7 years ago. I'm assuming it was just typical fan mail. I always respond to every fan who contacts me, so I must have replied and said something like, "Hey, thanks for your kind words. Glad you liked the game." But just the fact that she had contacted me when she was 9.
Why is a 9-year-old playing this game?
The 9-year-old became a fan at that time. I don't know why exactly.
Yeah, but he said thanks for playing the game. Why would you say that? Why wouldn't you be like, why are you playing a game where you could murder people and upskirt?
That's actually a really good question. Yeah. Well, because remember, he had friends that were adults when he was little, as his dad dropped him off at the theater downtown.
Daddy,
that's my 30-year-old friend, Bob. He always wears that long coat.
It makes me think of that episode where Butters follows his dad around.
Yes.
and Dad was wrestling all these guys. He didn't seem to be winning, though.
Butters' very own episode. That's one of my favorite South Park episodes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
His mom tries to kill him, and he doesn't figure it out till the last minute. All right.
And then later she contacted me again last year, somehow magically transformed into a narrative that I had been grooming her for 7 years straight. No, that's not what happened.
It was intermittent.
That's just
Again, this is a fine point to point out, but do you see how he drags it out?
Yeah, because he's hoping you'll forget about the stuff that he said earlier by hyper focusing on the semantics of this one little thing that he could easily have said this is fake too.
Yeah,
but by adding all this context and details, you start to forget about what the other accusations were, etc.
Yeah, all he has to say is, look, she contacted me when she was 7. There was no contact again until what recently happened. That part is just bullshit. But instead, he's over exaggerating, and you can get he does this weird thing where he overemphasizes certain words. It's another part of acting. It's bad actors do this. So that it's almost like the James T. Kirk, right? The exaggerations of Shatner doing Kirk.
How dare you say that?
Yes, exactly.
Something that people made up. But
But
even though I didn't harm a child, even though I didn't traumatize or victimize anyone.
By the way, he says he didn't harm a child because the girl says she wasn't harmed in any way.
Oh, yeah, because she said so in some random letter that he may have written or Chat GPT did. What was the name of this game again that he's making?
Yandere Simulator?
Okay, somebody asked in chat.
Yeah.
I do feel that I've made mistakes that I need to apologize for. I allowed myself to deteriorate into a person who is making horrible decisions on a regular basis that not only...
Even there, he just can't take responsibility.
Yep.
I allowed myself to deteriorate into this.
Not like I should have had conversations with teenage girls.
I did this, is what you should say.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I did this. This was morally wrong. I shouldn't have done that. I'm not going to do it again. We don't get any of that. It's lots of like half apologies with a lot of excuses attached.
It would have been better for him if he came out and said, look, guys, I was fucking high all the time. I didn't even realize what I was doing. He knew exactly what he was doing the whole time.
Yeah.
Me, but also the people around me. By making some incredibly stupid and careless remarks during conversations I should not have been having, I created a huge, completely unnecessary scandal and made myself into a figure who is so controversial that people are afraid to be associated with me or have any kind of connection to my game.
Well, you didn't have contact with him anyway. Remember, you told us that. You were so into your game for 16 hours a day. That's all you did. You didn't talk to anybody except for the girl you were talking sexually with. The contradictions. The fucking contradictions.
Thank you, Keldrick. Sir, I don't believe you know how people speak to people. You talk like an AI. You're not wrong. He talks like a robot. Either this is scripted or he is a very odd person to begin with. And I think it's both.
Like I told you, a lot of this is almost word for word from his apology back in October.
Oh, yeah. It looks like he's reading off a teleprompter. But the fact that he doesn't really emote at all and the inflection stays the same makes this a lot more unbelievable. Like, I don't trust him because he's not even expressing outrage. He's just, I was so angry about these fake comments. What?
As a result, people who enjoyed contributing to the project had to quit. YouTubers who enjoyed playing the game had to stop. Companies had to sever all ties with me.
Weird. People don't want to be associated with a dude who's talking about sex with an underage, with a 16-year-old girl.
Yeah, but notice how he's the victim now. People quit my company. They didn't want to associate with me. I lost sponsors. Oh, boo-hoo you.
Wouldn't this be the time that he felt isolated rather than when all those people wanted to talk to him?
Yeah.
I mean, if we're being logical and, honest.
There doesn't seem to be a lot of that in this video.
It's weird how all of this isolation isn't affecting him when isolation is what was the problem. You would think this would cause a relapse. Maybe we should check his hard drive. Maybe he's talking to a 13-year-old girl now.
That's a good point.
And a lot of fans were deeply hurt and upset. I'm sorry for having stupid, inappropriate conversations I never should have had.
Creepy sexual conversations with a child. Stupid. They were so stupid.
Well, that
That's
statement. Sorry.
That's a way to undersell it.
Oh yeah, big time. But that sentence was the entirety of this video. That's all he had to say. Was I'm sorry I had stupid, inappropriate conversations with a teenage girl. That would have been better than whatever this rambling mess of a video is of deflections, minimizing, and victim blaming.
I tend to probably hyper focus on stuff because it's my job, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you go back to when I started on YouTube, it's always been about, okay, this is your inconsistency. And like I said, this guy set off alarm bells in the first 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It's now 10 minutes in and the alarm broke. The arm has been beating so heavily against the bell, it just broke right the fuck off.
There's a masturbation joke in there that's not appropriate right now.
I'm sorry for neglecting myself until I created problems for.
Oh, I'm sorry for myself. Right there. Again, he's the victim.
I'm sorry I abused myself.
I bet he did.
This motherfucker's balls, man.
Well, that's self-abuse.
All right. Let's say everything he said is true, right? That he just abused himself. That is not something that you need to put in this video.
Yeah.
You don't need to apologize to everybody out there for what you did to yourself. Right? Like, Jack, let's say I took up cutting, right?
Uh-huh.
And then I got out of my dark place, and there would be no reason for me to come on here and go, guys, I'm sorry I let myself cut myself. Because the person in that case that I would need to apologize to is me. I wouldn't owe you an apology for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's all about him and how he's the victim.
Yeah. He's spitting the narrative that he is, in fact, at least as much of a victim as she is.
Mr. Hugh, I disagree with you entirely. He says this vid accomplishes nothing. No. This video convinces me that this dude's a fucking creep who should never be around children.
Yeah, I didn't know who the guy was. I kind of went in blank, not knowing anything about it. The more he talked, the more I recognized like a certain amount of pattern here for people that are fucking perverts.
Now,
but that's what he sounds like, and all the deflections, all the excuses.
He didn't accomplish anything for himself. I'll give you that part.
Yeah, he absolutely did not help himself at all in this. This makes him look really guilty.
Yeah. And the fact that he did what so many people do, where he plays the victim. We see this a lot in YouTube apologies.
Oh, yeah.
Like that one chick who got, I don't know if you even saw this, Jack. This is a while ago. This chick, she got busted molesting a guy while he was asleep.
Oh.
And she came out with a video about how she wasn't going to let all the haters keep her down. And she did an interpretive dance apology video.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
It is one of the greatest things ever. But the whole thing about that in her apology is that she was the victim.
Oh, of course.
She's on camera feeling up a guy who was passed out, but she was the victim.
Well, I mean, if he hadn't been laying there dressed so sexy.
Oh, no. You know what her excuse was? He was actually awake.
Uh-huh. That's why he was snoring.
Everybody else in the room was like, that motherfucker was passed out. He was asleep. Even he's like, yeah, I was asleep. Anyway.
Everyone around me. I'm sorry to all of the people who I ignored when they warned me countless times that my behavior was becoming more and more self-destructive.
I really need to make up your mind. Were people talking to you or not?
Maybe they were talking and he wasn't listening because he was fronting a different altar at the time.
Perhaps.
And all the voices are in his head, so he couldn't hear them.
Yeah, but I thought he was alone. No, he was alone as all these people were talking to him and so concerned about his health.
He was alone in a crowd. That's how it is sometimes.
Can we have a telethon for this guy? He has it so rough.
Oh, it's so hard being him. Oh, my God. Oh, I got caught saying naughty things to an underage girl. Give me monies. Buy my video game. Yeah, shut up.
What a douchebag.
I fucking hate this guy.
Me too. What's that?
And I'm also sorry for one other thing. After this whole controversy started, people started targeting anyone associated with me or my project for harassment.
Wait.
People even targeted the...
They targeted these people for harassment. Did they, by chance, go to say, like, these sponsors you were talking about and go, hey, your man over here you're giving money to, he's talking sexually with an underage girl?
Here's the recordings.
Because
Yes.
that's not targeting them so much as making them aware of what a fucking creepy pedo wannabe you are.
No, that's targeted harassment, monkey, and probably tortious interference.
Probably tortious interference.
I was saving that one.
girl that I spoke to, spreading misinformation about her and spamming her with horrible images.
All right, if people were doing that, that's fucked up. Okay, but what is it? Yeah, never mind.
It's one thing to screw up your own life, but it's another thing entirely to screw up so badly that you bring hate and abuse and harassment into the lives of others just for being associated with you.
And that's what you did. I don't know why he's saying that. Like, that's the kind of thing that you would say in response to somebody who like is making a video like this. Like, yo, dude, you didn't just affect yourself, you affected all these. He's self-aware of that part. I guess we should give him credit for that. But all you're telling us is what a douchebag you are, and you haven't actually taken responsibility for this. You've given us reasons why it really wasn't your fault all along. First, it was the girl was almost forced into it by this YouTuber.
Oh, YouTube.
Grr. And then it was you just worked so goddamn hard that you couldn't even go outside.
He's so dedicated to this project about upskirts and murder.
And then you get to this part where I'm sorry. And you know what? I guess I should give you some credit for saying sorry, but I can't when all you've done all along is excuse what you did.
Yeah. Yeah. Any apology he makes from this video or here on out is going to be tainted by all the excuses, sad, pathetic reasons, distractions, and victim blaming that he does. He makes it sound like this girl set him up, and there's no evidence of that.
Well,
that he's shifting the blame to the YouTuber, all these other people. Oh my God! So nobody saved me from myself.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the Lifetime movie about this. Bitch, set me up.
I am deeply sorry for that.
Well, at least there's that.
I just hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me.
Nope.
Well, now that I've owned up to what I did wrong.
Did you?
Did he really have the balls to just say that?
Yes, he did.
All right.
I don't think he owned up to much of anything in this.
Now that I've blamed the victim and lied about being lonely, I'm just helping him out there with the script. Hey, dude, next time you write a script, send it to me. I'll clean it up for you.
And establish that I'm not a groomer. Where do we go from here?
We just admit you're a creep who talks sexually to children because.
Well, where do we go from here? We go to making fun of you because you're weird and you look like my cable guy.
Thank you, Rodline. He's mad that Manscaped pulled its ads. He wasn't a good fit to sell the Lawnmower 5.0. Indeed. Great for your closest fan.
Well, I don't think that 3 months of self-care are enough to magically fix every flaw I've ever had. I'm sure.
Bro, we're not talking about every flaw you've ever had. We're talking about one very specific flaw that you have.
The one where you talk sexually to teenage girls.
I can't fix everything that I've ever done wrong in 3 months. Yeah, nobody's expecting you to.
Oh no! See, they're just attacking him because he's got a lot of problems, Monkey, and people just expect him to be perfect. How can I be perfect? I'm just a normal mortal like the rest of you. Hold on while I strap myself to this crucifix.
We're
You're not the victim, dude.
We're not talking about the time you took the mints from the Rotary Club without putting the.
We're not going to get the end of that story, are we? I'm so lonely, sad and lonely. He'll be back eventually. Have you tried a baseball hat? Yes, Megatron has fallen. Maybe this guy has ties to the Clintons. His next job be political spin doctor. Well, hopefully he gets better at it. Monkey. I don't really have anything to say here. This is embarrassing. I don't know what to do. Oh no. I'm all alone again. All right, let's see what's going on in the news. How's everybody doing out there? You guys being awesome? Bet you are. Bet you're being awesome. Bet you're doing fun stuff. Oh man, shill your books. Oh yeah, I have books. You should buy them. They're very reasonably priced. I don't know. Just give me money. You know. All right. If I could copy the damn link, I would. There we go. Yeah, buy my books. Give me money. I like money. I'm poor. Jax won. By default, yeah. Hi, Chatel. How you doing? Oh, that's true, Dixie. You guys are here. At least you're not in the walls. That's where the squirrels live. Squirrels. They hunger. I heard one moving a little bit ago, and it's really annoying. So after the 10 years of not working on a game, is still taking money from Patreon. This guy's an all-around scumbag. He's a fraud on top of being a groomer. Yeah, it shouldn't take 10 years to finish a video game. Like, you should have something out. You can build on it with add-ons and expansions, but 10 years for a video game, that's ridiculous. Well, I'm glad you're still breathing, Mike. Yeah, it seems like if you're still taking money from people on Patreon for this game, you're probably never getting it. How wealthy is this guy? I don't know. That's a good question.
That is the second time tonight my AT&T has just died for no reason.
Maybe it thinks it's funny.
I mean, it kind of is.
Well, not to you, but to AT&T.
In a depressing way. Anyway, you know, guys, I will throw this into chat if you guys want to watch the last 4 minutes of this fucking retard. Because I can't take anymore. Look, this guy, I don't think the term groomer is appropriate. We agree on that, Jack, right? If we're talking about the actual definition of groomer.
Yeah.
I don't think he was trying to isolate her from everybody and get in. I don't even think he was necessarily trying to get in her pants.
No,
I wouldn't be shocked to find out, you know, that nudes were exchanged at some point.
Yeah, or he was jerking off to talking to her or something.
Yeah.
None of that would surprise me. But it's the inappropriateness of the conversations that's the real thing.
Yeah. And all of his bullshit excuses are just that. They're just bullshit excuses.
Yeah.
He blames it on the girl. He blames it on the other YouTuber. He blames it on his work-life balance.
My mentals, my social skills.
Everything other than the fact that he's just a fucking creep. And again, we can just look at the game he's making. Him making that game, does that necessarily make him a creep? No, it's a creepy game. But when you take that along with him talking to a 16-year-old about whether or not she's going to have an OnlyFans someday, the guy's just a creep who shouldn't be around kids. How is it this conversation there's not a single female in your audience who's 18 who you could have had these sexualized conversations with?
But she's just so smart and funny and mature.
Jack, we have a much smaller following than he does. And I have no doubt that if I wanted to, I could have sexual conversations with somebody from our audience. Because there's always a weirdo out there. No offense to whoever the weirdo is. I appreciate you. Please do not send me anything sexual because I'll just laugh at it. But the simple fact is, if you get a decent sized audience, there's going to be some freaky chick in there that'll get freaky with you.
Yeah. Want a cyber?
It doesn't matter if you're married or show no interest. They're called stalkers usually.
They're groupies.
Groupies. They exist all over the place, and especially when you have a creepy game like that, I guarantee you there's a 18-year-old chick who would have talked dirty with you. You had tons of fans who were trying to talk to you, and the one you fixated on was 16. And immediately told you that part is even worse. She was immediately upfront about being 16. It would almost be better if he said 6 months later I found out she was 16.
Yeah, that would have been a lot better actually. Because I thought she was 18 because I didn't expect a teenager to talk.
I just assumed.
Yeah.
But I mean, everything points to the fact that what brought her to your attention was she was a 16-year-old girl.
But she was so smart and funny.
I do want to see the original conversation or the original message from her that made him go, oh yes, she's smart and funny and kind.
Maybe that was the nudes.
Fuck. Anyway, how many games have been released since Yandere? I forget how do you say that. Yandere. That's it. Started 10 years ago. I fucked tons, man.
I mean, Depression Quest did take this long.
In fairness, this is a more in-depth game than that was.
Yeah, but 10 years, dude, that's so extreme. And somebody said he's got a Patreon. Like, there's people throwing money at this dude every month for a game that is probably never coming out.
That kind of stuff is not unusual. If people believe in a game, and I don't mean to be rude to you anime folks, but the creepier the perversion is in anime, the more dedicated the fans are. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, because they're working from a limited source material. Like, new spank material. Awesome.
Yeah. They do seem to, and again, I'm not being, there's a lot of people who just like anime, but there's a certain sect of the anime fan base that are fucking weird.
Yeah, they like their fetish stuff.
And the weirder the shit is, the more they like it. And yeah, it's fucking creepy. Why will this not work?
I don't know.
It's starting to piss me off.
Well,
I was going to go look at his Patreon, but I can't open the video now.
Oh, did you get blocked? Is he watching the show right now?
No. The search function won't work on YouTube.
Oh,
I may need to reset my computer here.
Yeah, you might be having some serious issues. Some kind.
Huh. Interesting. We were just watching it.
Hold on. I'll see if I can do it.
My computer's being a dick.
Yeah, your computer doesn't like you today.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
It's mad at me for working too hard and neglecting myself.
Yeah, that's it. Give me a second here. I'll see if I can find his Patreon. This dude's weird looking too.
He really is. He's a creepy looking motherfucker. If you showed me that picture and said, guess what he did wrong, my answer would in some way involve children.
Yeah. This guy's got 2 million followers on YouTube.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Well, he's gotten a lot of publicity because of people like Markiplier, and I think even PewDiePie played this stupid ass game.
Wow. All right, I'm looking at his Patreon now. He's got 501 paid members, bringing in a total of $1,383 a month.
500 people give that creep money. All right, Jack.
Yeah, we have Patreons.
We do indeed. We absolutely do. Before we end tonight, because we are going to wrap up, and I realize we went way too long on this one, but I could not stop with the nonsense. That fucking apology is horrible. And that's the kind of stuff that if you watch enough of these things, you'll pick up patterns, like you say, because you used to work with these kind of folks.
Mm-hmm.
This was all bullshit. It was just all bullshit. Fuck that guy. I hope his career is actually over. It's not.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to learn a fucking thing from this if he gets away with this. Because people are going to forgive and forget, especially people that are too far in committed to this.
Thank you, Dangerous says he's lonely after his friend Jeffrey died in jail.
Yeah. Okay. Somebody mentioned this, but yeah, there are 3 tiers to his Patreon. If you had to guess, what would you think they are?
2, 5, and 20.
No, I meant the titles of them. It's 1, 3, and 100.
1, 3, and 100.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's see. I would guess the first tier is probably 25 and older. Second tier is 18 to 24. And the best tier is 18 and under.
No, it's crush tier at $1. You just have a little crush. The love tier is $3. The Yandere tier is $100.
Mighty Balzac, thank you. I like vids of Japanese girl marching bands. I've never paid attention to one.
I'm going to refrain from comment.
All right, we're going to end on a different idiot tonight just because this video made me laugh way too hard. Our old friend Nikki Haley's putting somebody's dick in her mouth again. And this time, that joke is never going to end. This time, she had this to say.
But let's keep in mind, these people that are wanting to come here, they want to come for a better life too. They have kids too. They have a heart too.
Yeah, I'll let her finish.
So we don't need to be disrespectful. We don't need to talk about them as criminals. They're not. They're families that want a better life and they're desperate to get here.
We don't need to talk about the people illegally coming into the country like they're criminals, Jack.
Yeah, it's not like they're breaking laws to get... Oh, wait.
They're just desperate families.
They're just here for the bread.
Desperate families made up of entirely men in the 20 to 40-year-old age range.
Yeah, they're all brothers from another mother.
I understand why the press likes her. I don't understand why any Republican would. This bitch is a liberal.
She's absolutely a liberal. She's worse than a rhino. She might as well be a Democrat.
I was just gonna say that. We spend too much time together.
No, we're just awesome.
She is a straight up Democrat. And I'm tired of her. And I saw this and like, wait, we can't call the criminals criminals? Don't be disrespectful to those people who are disrespecting our laws. Oh, my bad.
Yeah. I was watching Fox earlier over at my parents' house, right? They have it on fairly regular in between episodes of SWAT. Which, dear God, I hate that show. I'm so tired of SWAT and 911 because they replaced NCIS and Criminal Minds with those two. Anyway, so during commercial breaks and in between episodes, my dad will flip it over to Fox. And Harris Faulkner was talking to somebody today, and they played some clip of somebody saying something to the effect of how Nikki Haley's been getting a lot of coverage. And then not 5 minutes later, Harris is talking to Nikki Haley.
Of course.
I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, because they're like, oh no, we're not doing that. We're not propping her up. It's not artificial at all.
Oh, let's talk about that for a minute, can we?
Oh yeah.
The debate is coming up on the 10th, the next Republican debate.
Oh,
and
yeah.
on the stage will be Ron DeSantis, Chris Christie, and Nikki Haley. Vivek Ramaswamy didn't qualify because even though he meets all the standards, one of the standards that he doesn't meet is that CNN gets to decide which polls actually matter. And polls that have mattered all along suddenly don't matter after Vivek kicked this woman's ass up and down the debate stage last time they were together.
Yeah, it's a mystery how that happens, isn't it?
It is fucking disgusting. Yeah, Vivek ain't going to be on there. It's going to be a boring ass debate.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be very unexciting. DeSantis will probably do fine, but it's not going to have the excitement and passion and vitriol that the last couple have had, because Vivek is actually a fairly interesting guy, and he's very dynamic and good on the fly. All these other people are just scripted.
I've been watching his campaign because they put out the videos from his campaign events, or you can actually watch them live or the videos later.
Yeah.
And I've watched several of them recently. He is so much better when he's dealing with people in person than he even is on the debate stage.
Yeah.
He doesn't shy away from questions. In fact, most of the time he cuts short his prepared remarks so he can answer questions. Now, in fairness, he has a habit of going into his stump speech in his answers, but he does at least still answer the questions asked of him, and he takes all comers. It's not like what we normally see in these things where only the people who are approved get to ask a question.
Yeah. I will take a question from you, random stranger that works on my campaign.
Right. And what I really like watching is him interact with people afterwards. Cause like the one he did tonight, they stayed around for like 20 minutes just taking pictures with people and chatting with them.
Yeah.
And he's very good on his feet, and they cannot have that because he made Nikki look horrible in that last debate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, which is why he's not in this one. She is the candidate chosen by the media.
Yep. Now, Vivek does have a new strategy, and I really like what he's doing. It's not going to work because I'm still of the opinion at this point, this is Donald Trump's to lose.
Yeah.
But he's been being asked about Trump a lot lately, and his answer is this. I respect what Trump did, but he got duped. He was trying to get rid of the deep state, and he trusted the wrong people. That's not going to happen to me. I'm going to go finish what he started. Is that not almost exactly what I said people should say about Trump?
Yeah. Yeah. I like that he was saying, like, he's been wounded. He's not saying he's incompetent or he's too old. He's saying he's been injured in the fight, and it's time for somebody else to pick up the battle standard and go.
One of the points that he made tonight, and he also made, did you watch that video I sent you? Or
I got about halfway through, and Fat Hillary was kind of getting on my nerves.
Oh God, those two women were annoying as shit. The only reason I ask is because he brings it up in there. He asked these people, is like, do you really think they're going to let Donald Trump be president?
Yeah. Oh, they kept trying to frame him as like a conspiracy theorist for saying what we say every fucking day.
Yeah. Look, you guys can like Trump, and if everything's equal, Trump becomes president if everything stays the same as it is right now.
Yeah.
But look at all they've done to try to get rid of this guy. And Vivek has a very good point there. You have the 2020 election. Let's just be honest about that. They went to some great lengths to make sure they destroyed our economy to get rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
They did everything they could. And since then, they have thrown everything at him to keep him from even being able to run, to the point you have the Colorado Supreme Court declaring he can't, the bitch in Maine going, no, he can't, which, by the way, throws the constitutional republic into disarray.
Like, Constitution doesn't matter when you're fighting Orange Man bad.
Let me ask you this. Let's say, just for hypotheticals, that Maine and Colorado's decisions get to stand. What happens if Trump wins the general election? They've declared he can't be president. So you have two states who've declared that the president can't be the president.
Yeah, they're setting this up for serious civil unrest.
Yeah.
No matter what result happens. They've got people so amped up on both sides, you're going to have some chaos. And maybe that's the plan the whole time. I don't know.
I think Vivek has a point on this, and I hope it doesn't work, but we've seen what these assholes can do.
Yeah. Well,
We
look what
watched
happened
it
to
in
JFK.
you right. You have Joe Biden, this boring motherfucker who was barely on the campaign trail, getting more black votes than the president who was actually black. Does anybody believe that's real?
Of
Anyone?
course we do, YouTube.
That a sitting president got more votes than when they won and lost in what can only be called an electoral and popular landslide. When the fuck has that ever happened?
Never. Venezuela had it happen once, I think.
Yep. Ministry of Wrong Thing, thank you. Yeah, but they also wouldn't act like they have if they weren't genuinely afraid of him winning, meaning he does have a chance. Oh, he has a chance to win. But whether or not they'll let him get into office, and yes, I am talking even up to assassination, I don't see it happening. Could I be wrong? Sure. Could he get back in? Yes, he absolutely has the votes for it. But they're not going to allow it to happen.
Nah, I have a bad feeling this whole thing is going to be a sham and Nikki Haley's going to be the candidate or something horrific is going to happen. It's going to be ugly no matter what.
Yeah, so do I think they would really go so far as to assassinate him? I wouldn't rule it out.
I don't rule anything out anymore.
I mean, we've seen what the FBI can do.
Yeah. I mean, oh, you were walking around a building. It's time for you to go to jail. Oh, you're 300 miles away from that? Yeah, you're still going to jail.
Dangerous. That's an excellent question. And it was actually asked by the two fact chicks that interviewed Vivek for NBC. He asked, if Vivek truly believes that, why would he believe that they'd let him be president? His answer to that was because they don't have the damaging material on him that they have on Trump. Right now, they have 4 legal cases going against him.
Mm-hmm.
2 federal and 2 state. You have the people trying to remove him from the ballot because of January 6th. None of that baggage comes with Vivek. They would have to come up with basically, if he had a chance of being president. I love Vivek, but he doesn't. But if he did, the only thing they could do is shoot him, right?
Well, that would be their go-to, I'm sure.
We all know that the shit going on with Trump is bullshit, but it is going through the courts, and he could lose any one of those cases.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like the judges are fairly biased against him. So,
I mean, in the Colorado case, they have him declared an insurrectionist.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying, but there is a difference there. And that's Vivek's argument. I think it's a good argument. I just don't think it's going to work. One, because he's not getting the press that a Trump got. He's not Trump, right? If Trump was, I don't know, literally anyone else, Trump never becomes president, whoever that other person is. It was a perfect storm of this really popular guy who'd been in the zeitgeist for decades, literal decades.
Yeah.
Vivek just doesn't have that going for him. So as much as I love the guy, I have as much chance of becoming president as he does.
Yeah, I like Vivek. I think he'd do a pretty good job, but unfortunately, it's just not going to happen.
I want Vivek to come here so I can ask. I have a question for him.
Oh, yeah?
My question is, look, I don't think you're going to win. So if you don't, will you continue in politics? Because I really think that if he does, he has a decent career going ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think he's smart. He's charismatic. He's wealthy enough that he doesn't care about the government paycheck.
Yeah, he's a good communicator.
I don't want to see him just disappear in 2028. You know what I mean?
No, I think he should be VP.
I quite agree, but I guarantee you, if him and Trump are on the ticket together, that plane is going down.
Yeah, they could never be seen together because too much bad shit could happen.
What state is his home? He's from Iowa, Ohio. Where's he from?
Originally from Ohio, but he's living somewhere else now.
Still in the Midwest. I
Yeah.
just don't remember exactly. It's one of those states.
We both saw that, Mighty.
Monkey's question to Vivek: would you please hold me? I don't want to hug him. I don't think I could compete with his wife. His wife's pretty cute.
Yeah, his wife's pretty cute for
Yeah.
a thicker lady.
Good for him. Well done, sir.
Yeah.
Good pull.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like what he's saying, and I think DeSantis would be a lot better off if he repeated that kind of stuff. Like, look, I appreciate all that Trump did, but he's wounded, and I'm a better candidate here.
Yeah, but again, DeSantis's campaign is such a shit show. He had such a great shot, and then his team is just incompetent.
I don't blame it all on his team. I blame a lot on the media, as I always do.
Oh yeah, I think there's enough blame to go around on that.
The media is afraid of DeSantis.
Yeah, and they should be, because he actually is, pretty good at what he's doing.
As I said the other day, there's a weird thing going on with lefties. You have half of them who want Trump to be the nominee. They genuinely do, because they think he's easy to beat. And then you have the other part that are deathly afraid of him. The smart ones who are deathly afraid of him becoming the nominee.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. And what they're doing is trying to diminish DeSantis, because if they're able to knock out Trump, they sure as fuck don't want Trump Jr. And look, DeSantis and Trumpers, you guys don't have to like this, but your candidates are a lot more alike than you want to admit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Of the three that are going to be on the debate stage, DeSantis is the clear choice. If you're a Republican and care about, standing up to the woke bullshit and stuff, DeSantis is your guy. It sure isn't Haley here who's like, please don't call the illegals criminals. It's sure not Jelly Roll. So what they want to do is they want to pump up Nikki until the general election, because they know they could probably beat her.
Yeah, and if they can't, they can. She's lefty enough that she'll give them some concessions at least.
Anyway, I just wanted to end in on this pole smoking bitch cheating on her husband when he's over there defending our country, saying something stupid.
Hey, did you see the fat dude jumping over the?
I did. I don't know how video's been showing tonight, or I would show that one.
Yeah, I think it'd be too choppy, but I'll throw the link in chat. It's funny as shit. If you guys haven't seen it, this is.
Did you see the video where somebody spoofed it together, where Trump throws a football and that guy's diving to catch it?
No,
it's wonderful.
There's some great memes that have come out of this, though.
But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap up there. We're almost at 3 hours. This is our longest show in a while, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for joining us for it. We fucking love you, and thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for all the donations. We realize what Biden has done to the economy, and humbled is the only word that really fits. Thank you. Anything you want to show?
I'll drop some links to some really cool videos. As always, like Monkey said, we do appreciate all the donations you guys give us. It keeps the show going, and it keeps us alive, because this is how we pay the bills and eat.
That's how we pay the bills.
Appreciate it, guys.
No game stream tonight. 1 second. I'm so sorry.
Poop.
Oh, man, that fucking hurts.
Well, you shouldn't do that anymore.
I didn't do fuck.
You were breathing, weren't you?
I moved remember I told you about my big head and my neck?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I moved my head wrong.
Oh, yeah, that'll happen.
No game stream tonight. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Jack, a pleasure as always.
Always glad to be here.
Fuck Nikki Haley, that dirty whore. And everybody, have a good night. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye, everybody.
How dare you make me sing when I feel like this, you fucking assholes. I love you.
Don't talk to teenagers.
I love you like Nikki Haley, like strange penis.